You know what I wanted for the longest time for some reason, and I imagined how it would play out in my head.
Cable
is a.
Nerd On.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to Nerd On, the podcast you didn't need but deserve, where all levels of nerd are welcome.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. No matter
That was
how
so
animated
like
you are.
red. Like where all levels of nerd are welcome.
They are.
Quiet.
This is actually her first episode.
My
All the
very
other episodes you
first-
hear before this.
Yeah. Hey, pretty mama.
Oh, boy. No.
That's
No.
what the whole episode's going to be.
Yeah.
Just for an hour.
Just
of
Johnny
that.
Bravo.
Hey, pretty
Only
lady.
Johnny
You got
Bravo.
a girlfriend? We got a boyfriend? Yes.
Oh,
You want
pretty
to?
All right. So if you haven't guessed by now,
We're talking about Johnny Bravo.
we're talking about Cartoon Network. As a
Cartoon.
whole, this would be an R-Us episode, as we like
Yeah.
to talk about.
Cartoon Network or us?
Yeah.
And-
Kind of like what we did with Nickelodeon
Yes.
and other such.
Before
This
my
could be a
time.
part one, depending on how much we cover today. We'll see.
Yeah.
Oh,
See what
fuck.
happens.
Yeah.
I
It
would-
might be worthy of one.
I think so, but we'll see.
I mean, it would depend because I mean, Cartoon Network spans a lot, and
Yeah.
A whole lot.
I'm of the older generation, and so
How's your back?
I'm so old.
Oh, poor baby.
No, I'm not.
But before we get started, let's introduce our hosts.
Let's do that.
Oh, yeah.
I'm Corey.
I'm Tom. Why do you look at me like that?
I'm
'cause you're
Caitlin.
Ali.
I'm Josh, and this episode is brought to you in part by our patrons over at Patreon.
Patreon.
Woo!
I'll never let you say it alone.
I know. It's
Never.
cool. I know that I am always taken care of.
If you also
Always.
support where all levels of nerd are welcome, then support our show on
Yeah.
Patreon.
All sorts of cool bonus content.
You get
over
boner
there.
episodes. You get a second boner episode. You get a Nerd
Wait
Minute
for it.
boner
You
episode.
get a third.
Yeah.
So
Double the boners.
much.
Triple the boners.
So many boners.
Just for
So many boners. You might even be uncomfortable.
yeah.
But it's a positive thing.
It's super great.
So with that, all the biz, as Josh likes to say, is out of the way. I guess this will leave us into our brief history.
Yes.
A little bit about it.
Of Cartoon
Of
Cartoons.
Cartoon Network.
Take us on this journey, Tom.
It's a long journey. It's been 25 to almost 30 years. And the reason it started out was with Ted Turner, who recently got the rights, and he was big. He was part of Turner Network, Turner Cable, and actually had a bunch of properties, and ended up buying the Hanna Barbera property. And then ever since then, he decided to create a network for cartoons where cartoons would play out throughout the entire day. He was inspired by the fact that news would be on early in the morning. He's like, what the hell? Like, there's people playing news throughout the entire day. It's like, how about people doing that for cartoons? And so with that, later on,
Man after my own heart.
yeah, so
Please,
got the
more
Hanna Barbera
cartoons.
cartoon. So some from my age range would know it as like Flintstones, Jetsons, Scooby Doo, Johnny Quest. Those are the
El
ones
Kabong.
I don't know that.
Hong Kong
Oh.
Fooey.
Hong Kong
El
Phooey.
Kabong was my jam.
Some of them we have on our list is like Tom and
Hey,
Jerry.
boo-boo.
I love Tom and Jerry. Josie and the Pussycats. These are the older
Captain
cartoons. Captain Planet is actually created by Ted Turner. It's an original show.
Wow.
So he
He's
wanted
our
to create
hero.
something. And then later on, he acquired
It's a Ferris Bueller thing.
all of the Looney Tunes. He acquired most of the Warner Brothers properties, and so was able to play
Yes.
like Looney Tunes, Daffy, Bugs, and all that stuff. And then later on,
My
started
whole
creating
childhood.
creating more networks. So he started with TNT, the actual channel, started promoting stuff on there where it's like you watch all your cartoons here on this channel. So utilizing 2 channel networks was now promoting one channel for all these cartoons, and kids loved it, parents loved it, and started making these blocks. Started making blocks for like, okay, kids are gonna watch during this hour, kids are gonna watch during this hour, but when kids are at school, parents and teens are gonna watch during this hour. And then this is when like Space Ghost started coming out.
Coast to Coast.
Yeah, and
Very
so,
specific. Not Space Ghost.
well, Space Ghost
Space
was already
Ghost to
there.
Coast.
Space Ghost was already quote unquote an adult show,
Yeah.
but then they started re-editing Space Ghost, Space Ghost,
Like
and
clip art.
and making it Space Ghost Coast to Coast, where he interviews different characters from their properties that they own
And celebrities.
and celebrities, which is like ingenious to reutilize their own properties and amalgamate them. So
Brack was the shit, by the
yeah,
way. Just want to throw that
Brack
out there.
show.
Brack on
Was that
Space
a-
Ghost Coast to Coast was the best.
Harvey
He
Was
was
that a-
abrasive. I
Harvey
thought,
Birdman,
but-
attorney at law,
He was the
things like
Mantis,
that.
right?
Was that a
No,
cartoon?
that was Zorak.
Oh, okay.
Which one?
Yeah.
The
Brack was
Space
the
Ghost?
Space Ghost Coast to Coast. Yeah, it's the guy with
the
like
teeth.
the black
Oh, okay.
cowl. He's got the white suit, and he would be like an actual adventurer throughout space. But Space Ghost.
he was
Coast
a
to Coast,
superhero.
He
okay.
he would have a talk show, and he would just talk to characters and celebrities.
Oh, like a cartoon talk
like a
show?
cartoon. Like
It's-
imagine Batman being a cartoon, like being a
To
talk show
this
host.
day,
That's cool.
one of my favorite parody talk shows ever made.
Yeah.
What?
And this was
Yeah.
like, during Celebrity Death Match, these kind of like things where like people were just wanted to see their fictional characters like interact with each other. So it was like really, really cool. Like,
That's a cool idea.
like, the whole, like, it's bugs, it's
And it worked,
bunny, rabbit
apparently.
season, it's duck season, it's rabbit season, it's duck season. And then it would say Cartoon Network.
Here's a little fun fact about Space Ghost and the Brack show. Tom, you can attest this. You've heard my good friend Catherine
Yes.
Buckaroo call me Snickle Fritz here and there. That is because of that show. Brack's mom called him Snickle Fritz one time when we were like 15, and it stuck for the last 14 years.
Wow.
Nice.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
And then Cartoon Network started doing like Cartoon Fridays and started having like different days have different programming, which is like what we see now. Like they became really pretty much the pioneer of how different networks do different days for different programming.
Yeah.
But then throughout that day has different programs as well, which gave
Yeah.
birth to such things such as like Toonami, which was the first time all you weeaboo
Toonami.
white boys, also people like me, who
And me.
first time ever got anime. This is where I saw Dragon Ball Z for the first time. This is where I saw Gundam, things like that. And then
For very
later on,
attention.
you'd stay on that channel, and then you'd stay late at night, and then all of a sudden you'd see old people swimming in a pool,
Yeah.
and you'd see adults swim. And then that's when they were like, hey, we're going to market like adult shows, anime that has blood and cussing. The first place where Cowboy Bebop found its home, Adult Swim. And it's things like that where it's like Cartoon Network with Ted Turner, what he was trying to do, and every president that followed afterward was trying to compete against Nickelodeon,
Yeah.
and ended up, I think, directing the ways that other cartoon outlets did. Because I mean, like Channel 13 or Warner Brothers channel would play until noon, and then they would stop and then play like fucking Ricky Lake or some shit. You know what I mean?
Don't you knock Ricky Lake.
I love Ricky Lake as much as I love Jerry Springer.
Didn't say
And
anything. Didn't say anything.
you know what
I
I'm
mean, they
saying?
even had Pokemon.
Yeah, they had a lot. The cool thing is that they had a
So
lot of
much.
shows that they acquired and got the rights to distribute and play, and they would have them syndicated on Cartoon Network. So like Batman or all the Warner Brothers properties would be on
Tom's
Saturdays.
favorite Batman Beyond.
Batman Beyond would play on Warner Brothers
Oh,
on
yeah.
Saturdays, and then once it was done with its run, Cartoon Network would take it and then put it on their show on their channel and just play it throughout.
Mm-hmm.
All
Yeah.
the time. So I mean that kind of is a truncated version of its history.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
That's a
did
good
it
way to put
have?
it.
I guess it did have a bunch of original programming too.
Oh,
A bunch of original program, but also like
so many.
I would say
original
like
shows.
this,
So
like
much.
the one thing I think really kind of is a highlight in our time. I would say like our big, this is our Flintstones was, to me, what I saw was Adventure Time, because Adventure
Yeah.
Time
Yeah.
is to what Pokemon was to Fox Kids,
Mm-hmm.
because Fox Kids saw Pokemon and that went to Warner Brothers,
Mhm.
and then they fucking lost it. And what Adventure Time, like, it was pitched originally to Nickelodeon, and then later on went to Cartoon Network.
And it was actually on
Mm.
Cartoon Networks. They used to have this thing where they would let independent animators show have a contest, and the winners would be shown on their network. And Adventure Time actually won, and it wasn't Finn. His name was Penn
Yeah,
in the beginning, after Pendleton Ward. The voice of the Ice King wasn't Tom Kenny at the time. It was actually the guy who did the Crypt Keeper on the
Ah.
original. If you watch the original one, it's a trip.
Whoa.
And he was like, there's one part in it. I'm just going to side tangent for just a sec. It's probably one of my favorite cartoon lines of all time. The Ice King freezes Finn, and all of a sudden he like opens his eyes in space, and he's like, whoa, am I dead? And Abraham Lincoln, a giant monument, comes to life, puts his hand on it. He goes, no, Penn, you're just alive and on Mars. But you have to go now. And he just goes back, just teleports him back.
Whoa.
And it's like one of my favorite lines. Like, it's just this really side tangent. He goes, but Penn, you must believe in yourself. Believe in yourself. And it cuts back to him in the ice, and he comes out and he goes, never! And he beats the Ice King. And it's like, I was sold from that moment on.
And
You've
things
just
like
been teleported to space.
things like that happen where like Cartoon Network would have these like cartoon camps or cartoon academies where like they would get artists to like make the best shows that they can make, and then based on like audience who would watch it. I remember going online, dial up fucking internet, and then voting which one I liked, and it was Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy.
Oh wow.
And then like things like that happened where like it like you think of like shows like Rick and Morty.
Mhm.
You think of like shows like Adventure Time. What show in the last like maybe 5 years has done something like that from Nickelodeon?
Yeah.
Like SpongeBob has probably been its biggest thing. Like, and now we also have shows like Steven Universe, Cartoon Network. You know what I mean? Like they're really on the pushing the frontier of what American animation can do, and it's I think it's pretty crazy. It's pretty awesome. But I want to throw it back onto us. What was our first times? Everyone remembers their first time. I think.
Oh
First
god.
times.
I mean,
first time on Cartoon Network.
my dad, Saturday morning cartoons was a big thing.
Shout
with
out to
my
your
dad. I come from a family where we were split. We go to a week with my mom, a week with my dad's. And one of our favorite things to do with my dad was wake up on Saturday mornings and watch Space Ghost Coast to Coast. And Dexter's Lab and Powerpuff Girls and Samurai Jack, all those things. Like Saturday morning was our time to like at the time with my dad, we lived on a ranch, and during the day we would go help with like the horses, and we would help with walk the dog, run the dog, that kind of stuff. So the morning was our time to like chill, watch some cartoons before our day started. So that was my first kind of introduction to that. But he was also, when we were younger, a lot of the time he would show us very poignantly like Bugs Bunny and Daffy Duck and stuff like that. And he was like, even though they're cartoons, this is some of the greatest comedians of all time.
Chuck Jones,
Agreed.
revolutionized animation.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I have my dad to thank for a lot of it. So yeah.
Shout out to your dad again.
Mm-hmm.
Is he listening?
Yeah, he's a Patreon supporter.
Aw.
Nice.
We heart you.
Yeah.
We heart you.
Josh.
Cartoon Network. For me, I was a big the old school. For me, it was the Yogi Bear, it was the Jetsons, the Flintstones. I think I said it in our music RS. I had an interesting childhood in which my stepdad was born in the 40s.
Shout out to your stepdad.
And my mom and my bio dad were the 60s range, and so I had quite an array of like I liked oldies music, so I naturally liked oldies cartoons, so to speak.
Makes sense.
Like Hanna Barbera was
the shit.
Yeah.
I don't know
Sure.
what was the name of the race. There was like a TV show where all the different properties would come together and compete in a race.
I can't remember, but I know what you're talking about.
And they had the dog where
yeah.
Oh.
But Looney
awesome.
Tunes was my jam. Like I've always been a physical comedy guy. That's gonna make me, and just that kind of comedy that it was just cracks me up. I love Looney Tunes even to this day.
favorite Looney Tune character?
Marvin the Martian.
Yes.
Oh,
He was one of those guys that,
Greetings.
where's the kaboom? There's supposed to be an earth-shattering
There you go.
kaboom.
Yeah.
Like he was the character that I was like, ooh, it's Marvin. Like,
I was a Bugs guy.
oh yeah. Yeah.
So suave.
Yeah.
So suave.
I was torn between him and
Side note.
Daffy.
Wacky Races.
Wacky Races.
Wacky
Yes.
Wacky Races.
Nice.
I was about that show growing up, and I know none of my friends watched it because I was like 7, and everyone else was watching like normal cartoons, and I was like, "Did you see that episode of Wacky Races?" Everyone's like, "No, get
What
away."
are you talking about?
7 or
Ew.
17?
17.
So yeah, but I think because again, I am of the old generation. A lot of the newer properties that they have, I didn't
Half
really
the ones I
experience.
mentioned?
Yeah, probably like pretty much. I mean, I probably was in the early stages of Cartoon Network.
You were at the beginning. The epic
like
epoch.
Dexter's Laboratory.
Was that new?
That was pretty new.
Damn.
And then I started being in junior high and high school,
And then girls and shit.
or theater club,
Okay.
Same.
Another dame.
choir, theater club. I'm cool. I'll eat.
You ditch the cartoons for choir. That's good.
Yeah, I as you might have guessed by my earlier questions, I did not really have Cartoon Network in my life, like at all.
Because it was a premium cable
It
channel.
must have been like that and Disney Channel. I didn't have. I just knew that. much.
I have something that
I
links
cared
both of
more
your
that I
stories.
didn't have Disney Channel, but I'm huge. My number one thing is my actual number one channel for cartoons is WB.
Okay.
I'm a huge fan
A
of WB.
lot of their shows came to Cartoon Network.
but WB Animation, huge fan. Animaniacs, one of my favorite cartoon shows.
Yeah.
And then second is Nickelodeon. Like that was what I watched. That was my jam. But yeah, it's I didn't really watch any Cartoon Network shows until like recent years. Like I'm talking
Like Rick and Morty.
like last 5 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whoa.
And that was
You're living your childhood now.
yeah. And
Heck
I'm like,
yeah.
well, I
Welcome
missed
to
out
Nerd
on
On.
some. But
yeah.
but not really. Like the shows that I'm watching, I don't think were on air then, because the shows were Adventure Time, regular show,
Yeah, these are the new shows. These are like the next gen.
Yeah.
and
This is like when I was in college.
Rick and Morty. I think those are the only shows that I've seen on.
Then of
Cartoon.
course you've seen. I mean,
I've seen
if
a
you-
little bit. Here's the thing: there must have been like 1 or 2 years where we did have Cartoon Network, but I must not have cared that much about it
You were a Disney
because I
kid.
do
Was that when
remember
Destiny
seeing.
came out?
I do
Jesus.
remember seeing like some episodes of Powerpuff Girls. Did that ever go to any other channel?
No.
No.
That was a
Then we
Cartoon
must have
Network
had it.
exclusive.
We must have had it for like a couple. We moved like when I like my whole life, even to this day, I've moved like every 2 years.
Whoa.
I feel you,
Uh,
bro. I feel you.
So one of those times where we moved, we must have gotten. It might have been like a
promotion?
like a promotion.
it's like the 90-day.
Yeah.
Cox Cable.
Use a free year cable.
Because I remember having it for like a hot second,
Mhm.
where I watched some Powerpuff Girls. And
But
that was
their
the only
list
thing I
of
really-
properties is insanely long. So you're like you said, like you're familiar with a lot of their Fox Kids grabs.
Oh yeah,
like,
Batman,
Um,
Justice League.
But yeah, but I watched
Animaniacs.
those where they originally aired. So
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah.
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 But yeah.
Caitlin?
Caitlin?
So I definitely grew up with the Hanna Barbera stuff.
Mhm.
My parents had me watching very old cartoons before they would allow us to move on to this stuff, because even like Dragon Ball Z and stuff, my sister and I had to watch in secret. If a show was too violent or too weird or too anything, it was something that Bethany and I had to turn the volume on 1.
Yeah.
and
And it's still
immediately-
super loud.
It's still super loud. And then, the moment you hear footsteps, you're like, pressing the button as many times as you can to get the channel to
That's why you
change.
got to get that remote that just says return, and it just goes to the last
Yep,
channel
goes
you
to
were
the last
watching.
channel.
Hey!
We didn't have a remote because the TV was too old.
There
So
you
it was
go.
like
I
one of
feel your
those
pain,
like
though.
long buttons that you had to press.
Are you sure you weren't just connecting cables and just waiting for a spark or something?
It
We
was
couldn't-
that, yes.
My
you're
brother
How'd
right.
you
and
have
I-
Cartoon Network if
She
you're
had to
doing
wind the TV. And
My brother and I were not allowed to watch The Simpsons
Oh, yeah,
because
same.
I think she heard Bart,
Bart
say
say-
the word hell once.
Yep.
And that
That
was
sounds
it.
about right.
That was it. Was
Yeah.
over.
like, what the hell, Mom?
Oh, yeah, no.
He probably says bitchin'.
Yeah.
But yeah, all of just looking at, I
said
have
initial.
a massive list
Yeah.
of everything, and just I would
There's a
say
lot.
the initial is Tom and Jerry.
Mm.
Oh, yeah.
I watched so
I
much.
was gonna
Tom
say,
and
like, yeah,
Jerry.
Ollie, where did you
Almost
watch
like
Tom and Jerry?
like a cat and mouse chase.
Because
It
I feel like
was-
you had to have watched it on Nickelodeon.
One might
on
say.
Cartoon Network.
I don't think so. Like I think it wasn't it
Game of cat and
WB.
mouse.
No.
Where was it original?
I think it's originally
Originally.
a Warner Brother thing, but I don't know if it
What?
ever played during our time.
You know what it
Tom and
was? You know what it might have been? They might have
It
been
played
tapes.
all the time on Cartoon Network.
On Cartoon Network, he was talking about like where it originally
They
played.
might have
I'm
been
like,
tapes that I watched
They
because there was
they
a lot of that
released-
too. There's a lot of that.
They
I don't
had
know where
a
they
few
were
beginning
from.
on Lamb Chop sing along.
I don't think they were
VHSs.
rented. They were like recorded VHSs. So I don't know where that came from.
No, it had to be. It had to be Cartoon Network because Tom and Jerry is an original Hanna Barbera.
Yeah.
So it had to be. You had it. You just refused to look at that black and white CN on the corner of the screen.
So
Okay, Tom and
much,
Jerry was very-
so much.
Was so young for me though.
Yeah.
Like I was really, really young, and I didn't even see that much of it.
Okay.
Fair
That's when
enough.
Tom and Jerry was a shit.
If I did watch some of these shows on Cartoon Network, I definitely don't remember.
Ollie's still around to record for another day. That's fine.
yeah.
For me, so I want to kind of bridge the gap with everybody. Kind of like I remember like my like I came in from like watching Arthur and fucking Dragon Tales and
PBS.
Sagwa.
Hey, it's Franklin.
And then all of a sudden, like one
Walking.
day, magically, this fucking switcher showed
That's
up
my
at my
jam.
house and it said A and B. And I was like, what the
What?
fuck is B? And I pressed B, and then all of a sudden the TV went static, and I turned the channel, and then fucking Cartoon Network was there. And then
That
I remember
sounds so magical.
Neckwork was there, man,
Neckwork.
where you get long necks.
Yeah.
Ugh.
And I remember, I think I saw like Tom and Jerry. I remember seeing Tom and Jerry, and I thought this is awesome. And then when I started watching it, Dexter's Laboratory was already a thing.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh.
and I
That's right. You're a youngin.
yeah, I was a youngin, and I wasn't able to differentiate between the orange logo and the green logo. And I was like, oh, the green logo looks dope. The orange logo looks like shit. And then it's just because it was just newer animation. But like one of my favorite moments was actually, I had the same moment where I
Wait, what orange and green logo?
So Dexter's Laboratory, when Dee Dee presses the button
Yeah.
and Dexter's trying to press it, he would like fucking blast back. The first original logo is orange.
Yeah.
And then
Of
afterward-
Dexter's Lab. I
yeah.
thought you were talking about Cartoon Network. I was
Yeah,
like, when did they have an
Corey
orange
and I
logo?
shared a look of like, does he know what he's talking about?
Is he talking about Nickelodeon again?
The one with the splat, and then there's that weird eyeballs in the mouth.
Yeah, no, I know
Yeah.
what you're talking about
Yeah.
now.
And the theme song's like da-da-da-da-da. Yeah.
But I remember like I was watching Adult Swim. I was watching like fucking Inuyasha and shit. And then like my dad caught me. And he's like, "You can't watch that shit." Then all of a sudden, like I
And
remember,
then he was wrong.
but then I remember waking up really early in the morning, like going downstairs and seeing my dad on the same channel watching the Jetsons. And I was like, the fuck. My dad's like fucking ancient as shit, and he's like, his fun is watching stocks. And so I grew up in that shit. And so I watch the NASDAQ all the time. And so I'm like, you watch, the fuck is this? You watch cartoons? And he's like, the Jetsons is my favorite cartoon. Then I was like, you have a favorite cartoon? What the fuck is wrong with you? Like, that's how I grew up.
That's how you asked that to your dad?
That's how I grew up.
Did you live?
That's how he talks
Are
to
you
us.
alive
so.
right now?
Well, to me, I was also like, whatever my dad watched, I have to watch. And so I was like, I'm not mad with this if I have to watch the Jetsons. And then like, that's what kind of further grew me to like watch cartoons that way
Mhm.
in the past, not going only watching the newest stuff. And so there's another network that spawned out of Cartoon Network where all the old Hanna Barbera shows went. Boomerang.
Boomerang.
Oh, yes.
man.
And that's when they would. Sadly, it's called Where Cartoon Network Shows Go to Die.
Oh.
Is because that's where they would play all the old stuff. Where you probably watched Tom and Jerry, Ollie.
I looked it up, and Tom and Jerry was on Fox for 4 years.
God damn it! You just not want to watch it? Welcome to the Fox episode where Ollie's watched everything.
I didn't have it. It wasn't my choice.
You had it for 2
I didn't
years.
even know like it existed or mattered. Like, cause like think of it. Like if I told you a random channel name right now that you've never heard of,
Mhm.
you would not care about it.
No, I would. I would
No,
say,
you
what are
wouldn't.
the great shows that it had, and then I would try
I
to
think
watch
of it this
one of
way.
them.
All your friends are talking about the internet, and you're like, what's the internet?
And that's the thing. I didn't
"Here,
really
bro."
have like friends that
Here's
talked about
AOL.
Cartoon Network.
I'd be like, think of two calculators, think of a bigger screen, and they're connected.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, that was my first. My first was Tom and Jerry, and then Jetsons with my dad.
Hell yeah, Tom and Jerry.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I just realized the more I'm looking at this list, the more I realize that I've been watching Cartoon Network my entire life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
Like I am a lifelong.
Josh, you got to see the beginning of it.
Yeah.
And
Like
then-
as you know, one of my favorite shows of all time is Tim and Eric Awesome Show, and I
Yeah.
forgot that's
Oh.
Adult Swim.
Mhm.
Oh, they make me so uncomfortable.
Well, then don't fucking watch it.
I don't.
Hey, does it make you uncomfortable that they have
I'm not
the
gonna
most?
talk about shows you like and talk about how I'm gonna puke.
Hey,
I
Caitlin,
didn't say I was going to puke.
Caitlin,
Just said it made me uncomfortable.
Caitlin,
With a
Caitlin.
little bit of a
Caitlin.
belchy sound.
Do you realize that they also make you uncomfortable by having the most Emmys for a 15-minute show?
Wait,
In history?
That's me snapping. That's me snapping
I
back
understand
at
that. I see it. It's happening in front of me. Why? What?
Because
What
you.
did they
They're
win?
phenomenal.
I mean, they're not. It's.
It's brilliant.
Okay, Caitlin, also tell me every other show that's a 15-minute live-action comedy show.
I can't list any of those.
There you go. Because that's the only one that fucking matters.
Everything else has failed.
Anyway, brings us to
So many strong emotions were just unleashed.
We're talking about cartoons, so shut up.
Yeah.
talking about let's go into decades. Let's go to the Hanna-Barbera time.
Yeah.
So I mean, we got Space Ghost, we got Johnny Quest, Scooby-Doo, Flintstones, just to name a
Johnny
few.
Quest.
Yeah.
Johnny Quest. Johnny
Which
Quest.
spawned shows like C Lab 2021.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
Is there a style is there a name for that style that like C Lab, Archer, like all that kind of stuff?
where their limbs move, but they don't actually
it's
move.
essentially like cutouts from old
I
shows.
haven't- It's like this. It's like the South Park style, but I have no
Sort
idea
of.
what the fuck.
But like
that
Harvey
style-
Birdman did it as well, which
Yeah.
was another one of my favorite shows. If anyone knows the style of that art, let me know.
Slip
I'm
and slide in the
curious.
DMs. That's
Do
the
those
most
old
important.
shows still air on
all the time.
CN?
Some of the shows will air on I think Late Night Boomerang and then Late Night Cartoon Network.
So,
I would also go ahead.
well, I was gonna, as a quick anecdote, my mom's in town, in the country, I should say, is in country, and
Shout out to your mom.
she's staying with us.
She's also in town.
She's also in town, and we got cable for her.
So you're gonna make her. So you're gonna make her watch The Simpsons.
No. Look what you deprived me of.
Clockwork Orange style.
But I might
Oh no.
might keep it because it sounds like, from your experiences anyways, like I feel like I missed out because you said it was your intro to anime. And I
It is.
didn't
It's the
have that
reason I know
either.
what anime is because of
Yeah,
Cartoon
like
Network.
I didn't
It's
have
also
that.
the reason why I know what different types of art styles are, because they weren't trying to be the same thing. Every show on Nickelodeon is just trying to be the last show.
Mhm.
Like every art style is the same.
Yeah.
And then this one, you had like Chowder, you had Flapjack, you had Hanna Barbera.
Flapjack,
You had
dude.
so
we
many.
gotta talk about that.
You
for a
had
minute.
Adventure Time, and
I
then you
never
have
saw much of
Rick and
that.
Morty.
You
But
would
then you
love
also
it.
have that at the same time with Powerpuff Girls. Those are 3 distinctive art styles.
Flapjack is the reason I got back into Cartoon Network, but we'll move on to that
Later on. But yes, Ollie, everyone at home, slip inside of Future Foe at Future Foe on
Yeah,
Twitter.
tell me what to watch.
Destroy him. Tell him what to watch, please.
Hey,
Thank you.
Destroy him.
I mean,
Don't
destroy him.
destroy him with
love.
Destroy him sexually.
What? How did we get there?
We always get
Tom
there. I
found a
find a
way.
way. I am life. I find a way.
If you build, oh no, I'm not gonna finish
No,
that.
no, do not finish that.
But no, a real big thing I loved was just Flintstones and Jetsons. Like, I love the fact that they were literally the same thing. It was the nuclear family in different time periods,
Yeah.
and it was just like how they are adapted of like our idea of suburban living.
Yeah,
I really love when Fred's like, Wilma, all
Yep.
the time.
That one time.
You mean every episode?
Damn
Damn it! Which spawned a movie.
yeah.
Where's our Jetsons movie?
I like that movie.
Wow.
I was really following you for a second too. I was like, yeah. Oh.
Is anyone know? No one
Okay.
wants a Jetson movie.
Yeah.
I'd
How
watch
is
it.
there not one yet?
See, that's what I'm saying.
Actually, yeah, I'm kind of surprised by that.
Cartoon Network is slept on.
I would watch it.
So we want a live action Jetsons movie,
But
like
now,
we got a live
but
action
now I'm
Flintstones.
actually concerned because what if they tried to make it
No, I
like
know.
too modern? Like I would want them to keep it within like.
It has
how
to be
was
the hokiness.
styled.
Like Blade
yeah,
Runner?
Yeah,
Or you could do it like, why not actually let them do what they wanted to do with the original Scooby-Doo movie and let it make them R-rated?
Oh shit!
What?
Do you remember
Wait,
that?
whoa,
So the
whoa.
Scooby-Doo movie that came out
This is on topic because Scooby Doo's Hanna Barbera.
with Freddie Prinze Jr. and
SMG.
Sarah Jessica. Yeah, that was supposed to be, that was directed by James Gunn
James Gunn.
or written by, I don't know if it was directed by, but he originally wrote it as a R parody. Which
Wait.
is why there's still some bits
There's
left
some
in where
traces
they're
of that.
over sexualized or like when they switch bodies and stuff like that. But they wouldn't let him do it. And he did it because he also hated Scrappy Doo. Yeah.
Wow.
love
Wait.
Scrappy-Doo.
I just
Yeah.
ran into the microphone. What?
Yeah,
you
yeah.
love Scrappy Doo?
Yeah.
okay, so-
there's a strong argument for loving Scrappy Doo.
So also, I will say like,
and
I
I
love
used to be on the
Scrappy-Doo.
fence, but I do love
I
Scrappy Doo.
am of the young, and so when I started watching like Scooby Doo intensely, like I knew Scooby Doo, but when I started watching him intensely, it was when it was a fucking spin-off show, and it was a pup named Scooby Doo.
Yeah.
And then I was watching like fucking Scooby and Scrappy, and then they had all the meets with like
What was it? The pound puppies? Pound puppies.
yeah.
oh
What?
yeah,
Pound puppies. The toys.
Wait. Oh,
Has nothing to do with Cartoon Network.
No. They made a
kidding,
show.
I'm kidding.
But because he said a pup named Scooby Doo, and probably in the same afternoon they did the pound puppies because you're right. They were just toys, and then they made
They were like bean toys with big old long ears.
oh
Anyway.
my
a
god.
pup named Scooby Doo is just the same show except everyone's a kid.
My childhood
worse.
just flooded in, and
It's
Yeah.
like
Overtook
it's like
me.
it's like
It's like Tiny Toons to
well, I was
me.
gonna say
Pound
Muppet
puppies.
Babies.
Okay,
Holy shit.
Anyway, super
there's so much nerding on.
Tiny
going on.
Toons.
A lot of nerding on.
How do we want to steer this conversation? There's so much information. I'm like,
Well, I mean, is there a Hanna Barbera thing that I haven't talked about that you guys want to talk about?
I loved Yogi Bear. I mean, Hey Boo Boo, the shenanigans that they got into. I mean, seriously, this is to me. I know I'm in a Disney room, but to me, Looney
What?
Tunes is where
you're not.
I just don't want to. I don't want to offend Ollie.
I'll cover my
Oh, he's so
No,
offended.
Ollie's in a Cartoon Network
Um,
room.
That's a good point.
Ollie,
That's true.
earmuffs. I personally was of the Looney Tunes.
You were like Bugs over Mickey,
and
Daffy
like
over
the
Donald.
Jetsons and the Flintstones and that kind of stuff. And to me, I'm like, that's where cartoons were born.
Yeah.
To me, like what I know of cartoons, but that's my shielded childhood.
That's fair.
Jesus.
Well, did you have like I mean, I know you said Marvin Martian was your favorite.
Yeah.
Do you have a specific episode that stood out to you or a specific moment that was
No,
Yeah.
I just remember him just always getting foiled. And just like there's always that moment when he gets foiled and like although he had a black head, you could just
See the
like when he would get like the
explosions?
cannon
Yeah.
fire into his face and he's just like, well,
And then his like Spartan helmet's backwards or some
Yeah.
shit.
he I used to love to draw, and I would practice for hours to draw.
He seems super fun to draw too.
Yeah, he was just a cool.
You know what
character.
I wanted for the longest time for some reason, and I imagined how it would play out in my head.
Cable
is a
Josh, delicious
Ollie.
Josh
Wow.
strikes again.
I'm
Ollie,
sorry.
you had things to say. What were they?
no,
Sweet baby
They're
Ollie
holding
Give
now.
hands
Josh a
right now.
handshake.
It's a handshake. Okay.
I'm sorry, it was there, and I just was like,
I
was good.
applaud you, sir.
do it.
That was so quick.
You
It was
wanted.
a live action like Space Jam type thing, but with like Marvin the Martian is like animated, just like a dedicated movie to him,
Oh yeah.
where like he landed on
yes.
Earth.
So more Looney Tunes movies.
So like,
No, where he, like, lands
Who
on
Framed
Earth.
Roger Rabbit.
Kind of, yeah. And there's like a Shia LaBeouf type character.
You may
What?
get it because Space Jam with what's his name?
LeBron James.
LeVon
happening.
Burton.
You have
Shia LeBron.
You have to say it the right way. LeBron James.
LeBron James.
Anyways,
I mean, I can talk about.
well, I have a favorite
Oh, okay. You did ask us if we had any, but go for it.
because I don't know if you're gonna steer it or not. Were you gonna steer it in the same direction?
I'm good. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, I have a favorite Bugs Bunny episode. It's the one where he's fucking doing the massage to Elmer Fudd and the fucking
Yes.
Barber of Seville.
The Barber of Seville.
yeah, like that was like the episode to me. Like that one, and then like anytime Tom and Jerry and Tom won,
Mm-hmm.
and then you'd hear him do the like cackle, and it's like just circles in close. I'm like, oh shit, he won.
Yeah.
It's like the best thing.
It'd be like if Wile E. Coyote won. It'd be
Yeah.
very strange.
Which was really interesting because like I felt like the animation style for Tom changed and it got updated to make him look closer like the Grinch, which was a little cool,
Yeah.
which I liked a
Interesting.
lot. Which are like, oh, he's way more evil. I love it.
Yeah.
So Corey,
Oh, favorite Hanna Barbera shows.
Huh?
I was always a fan of Huckleberry Hound.
Yeah.
For some reason,
Huckleberry
Huckleberry
Hound.
Hound was one of my favorite. I loved his art design. I think when I was a little kid, I just loved the idea of like a blue dog and a straw hat, and I don't
Yeah.
know why. It just seemed so comforting
That
to me.
seems very you.
I also loved Droopy. Boo hoo, boo hoo hoo, boo hoo, boo hoo.
the highest
worked on
guy
that
in all of cartoons.
For so long.
That's the thing about these
I used to
kinds
sit in my room and just go boo hoo, boo hoo, boo hoo, boo hoo, boo hoo.
the Marvin the Martian thing. I would be like, how do I put it? Where do I put it in my throat and my nose and like? No,
And now you know why people get paid to do it.
Yeah, but I mean, there's things like I just feel older cartoons. I mean, you had people like, if you ever get a chance, everybody at home, everybody in the room,
Ollie.
watch a video.
Viddy.
Watch
A
a
Watch
viddy.
a viddy.
That's what we're
Viddy.
calling it from now on. By the way, that's patent pending.
Yeah, Viddy. Mel Blanc.
Yeah,
Yeah.
The amount of voices that man can do, like pretty much Looney Tunes,
all him.
is all him.
There's
almost.
an amazing interview with Billy West where I think it's Billy West or it's Hank Azaria. It's Hank Azaria, I think. It's one of the two is talking about him. And he goes, the most impressive thing I've ever seen in my life is an episode of Bugs Bunny and Daffy Duck
Mhm.
where it's Daffy Duck doing a Bugs Bunny impression and Bugs Bunny doing a Daffy Duck impression. And it's one guy. So
Yeah.
he's like, in his own mind, he has to go, okay, I do Bugs Bunny. What would it sound if I did Bugs Bunny doing Daffy Duck? And what would it sound if I did Daffy Duck doing Bugs Bunny? And he's like, it blows my mind that this man was, and do it well. And
Yeah.
he does it so well.
And he can switch between voice. Like if you listen to Looney Tunes, you're like, wow, those are all really interesting, specific characters. And you think, oh, that has to be really hard. He just goes
yeah.
Boom, boom,
Oh.
boom.
boom, boom between one and the other. And he can.
That's
Like if
awesome.
you get to watch him live, just see interviews.
I think there's a documentary on him too.
Yeah.
It's pretty
Some people
phenomenal.
call
Anyway.
that a talented motherfucker.
Yeah.
Fair.
Since we're talking about Looney Tunes, like I followed this one podcast for a little bit, not ours, but I was.
I don't even know what that means.
AKA we didn't mention this fact until now,
Okay.
and it was really cool because it had Chuck Jones' interview, and he talked about how he came up with the idea of the Looney Tunes, and he was actually learning how to draw and shit like that, and he would have this cat that would visit him in his house and would just sit on his perch, like sit in the windowsill. And then he would just watch that cat. And he was like, I wonder if that cat had a personality. And if a cat outside had a different personality. And that's how he fucking came up with like Bugs Bunny.
Oh.
Nice.
Because he's like, animals all have their own personalities. Why can't we show that?
Yeah.
And I was like, wow.
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 That's like some shit. You know what I'm saying? It's like, man, what if this couch that I'm sitting on hated the fact that I sat on it?
Yeah.
Ooh,
You got big comfy couch.
I'm uncomfortable.
You know,
right
like those
now.
kind of things where it's like, wow, what kind? You know, it's great.
Couch Boy coming to Cartoon Network.
I'm gonna push this on to original programming because, or did you have one, Hanna Barbera?
I had a very specific moment
Yeah,
that I
please.
really, really liked
Josie and
in
the
Tom and
Pussycats.
Jerry.
Oh.
And it was Tom, Jerry, and Spike
Mm.
all got a bottle of milk. And they like shared this bottle of milk. And I don't know why, but that was the most appetizing milk
Cartoon
I've
food.
ever seen in my life.
It looked creamy and warm and cold
I
at the same
still
time.
have
Yes,
dreams.
yes.
I still have dreams of Ninja Turtles and Doug Funny pizza
Oh my
because
God.
it's the most.
The cheese
that
I've
never
never
ends.
had
The cheese
pizza
stretching that
like that
much.
in my life, and I'm still looking
You know
for
what's
it.
stupid? Also, every turkey dinner, this
Yeah.
always is like gold and brown. It's got that stupid
Ugh.
like white
For
thing
sure,
on the
deep fried.
legs.
It's a deep fried
like,
turkey.
Jesus.
Oh my God.
One thing with Tom
For
and Jerry,
sure.
though, I will say is every French episode. I fucking love the French episodes.
Oh,
yeah?
yeah.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
Where they're like they're musketeers and shit.
Yeah.
Oh, and Pepe Le Pew.
Oh, Pepe Le Pew.
Original programming.
The rapist. Yes, original programming. So this is when I really got into cartoons.
This is
Was-
like on Josh's way out.
This
on
was
my
like
way
my cartoon sexual awakening. Like I was like, this is
Johnny Bravo.
cartoons.
This is Pink Ranger.
No, but just in the sense of like I had a fundamental understanding. I wasn't just watching like for at the age I was watching Looney Tunes at first. I was just watching people get hit on the head, and I thought it was really funny and stuff like that. Now I'm following plot lines. I'm following character arcs. I'm following like that kind of stuff.
A little bit more mature
Yeah.
of
So, like-
storylines.
So like
It's not just a cat trying to get a mouse.
Dexter's Lab was
Mm.
probably the one I watched the most, but I watched a lot of Cow and Chicken, I Am Weasel, IR Baboon, Samurai Jack. But one of my favorites these are all my favorites. Ed, and Eddie. I mean, Tom calls me Ed all the time. Tom calls me
Wow.
Ed
I need to talk about it.
all the time. That's
Yes,
all I
he's
heard
double
for
D.
like 2
He's
years.
double D.
And also, I mean, shout out to Flapjack. I want to take some time to talk about that as well. But what I'm going to focus on first is Courage the Cowardly Dog.
Oh my gosh.
This showed to me.
Wait, so for the uninitiated.
Yes. Oh, so basically, what it is it's a show about this old couple, Eustace
and Muriel.
and they have a dog named Courage,
And they live in the middle of.
and they live in the middle of fucking nowhere,
Like barren
nowhere,
Nowhere.
and a bunch of scary occult type shit happens to this old couple without them knowing. Like until the last 10 minutes of the show, they have no idea what's happening, and it's up to Courage to save them, save their hide.
every
Every
episode.
time.
And he gets shit on for trying. I mean, Eustace hates him most of the time.
Stupid dog.
But he has like a moment every episode where you're like, oh, Eustace loves that dog. But it is some of the most terrifying and scary stuff.
Horrific.
And I love it.
Yeah.
What was the scariest one?
Oh my God. There's off the top of my head, all of it? I don't know.
Mine.
There's one I mean, I love the one that scared me the most that happened almost all the time was when Eustace would scare Courage with the giant mask. Got me every fucking time. But there's one, and I can't remember what the exact storyline is, but something about the light. And there's this being that they showed like a real person for like 30 seconds, and it was the most terrifying thing that's
think I
ever.
remember.
I'm gonna try to look it up while you talk about yours.
Mine is
but it's
when
something with the light.
it's when they awaken King Ramsey, and then it's like Ramsey's calling, and it's like you see it's like first time you see like 3D images on a 2D cartoon, and I was like, what the fuck? It's like it's so jarring because like, oh, I'm not ready for this kind of animation yet, and it's just like he just slowly comes, and every time he closes the window and opens it back up, he gets closer and closer. It's like it was I love it. But then, I mean, they had really good characters like
Stranger, maybe?
Cats, and then like the fucking Chicken Brothers. There's a lot of good stuff.
I don't remember why I was scared of him, but the fox.
You mean Cats? The
Cat-
red
was
one,
it the
right?
cat? The red
guy who's all
cat.
smooth.
Yeah. I
He's
thought
like,
it was a fox.
Cats. My name's Cats. Yeah.
Yeah. What was?
Oh.
I don't remember why he
He's
was
evil.
scary, though.
He plots against people, and like I remember he beat Courage in a game of wall ball.
Oh, dude, it was the King Ramses one.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like CGI and he's super fucking freaky.
Yeah.
Out in the middle of the field. Yeah, that was the one. Oh, the Freaky Fred.
Oh yeah, the
Oh.
evil barber.
Yes.
Ugh.
Oh my God. Like, here's some of the art
They were
style. Ollie.
horrifying. They were horrifying.
Everyone has fucked up teeth. It's
Did you just
beautiful.
blink in that? Was that a GIF?
Yeah, it's a GIF.
Oh my God. I almost pooped myself.
Ollie's like, now I'm scared and I haven't seen the show.
Yeah.
Oh no. Okay, here it is. The House of Discontent.
Yeah, I remember.
This is the
Oh.
real face they showed.
Ugh.
for a few seconds, and
Oh.
it spoke super ominously. It's the Harvest Moon episode. If anyone is looking for
I
it out
think I
there.
remember
It's
that.
on black. It's a white face.
Oh my
So-
god.
scares
Another one
everyone.
was there was like eels or sirens in the
Yeah,
bathtub.
yeah, underneath in the bathtub, and they could go under. Yeah,
They
It
would
was a
like
whole nother
pull
world.
you into another realm,
and they
they
were
were gonna
creepy.
like,
They had these huge underbites.
oh,
Oh my god. Now all I want to do is watch Courage, because here's the mask episode.
All right,
The terrifying, like, non-moving I don't know. It was like,
Ali is like,
Unsettling.
I'm out.
but I was
So
also the
hard.
type of kid who watched those like shows on Travel Channel about ghost hauntings and would
Oh,
like scare
yeah.
myself shitless at night.
No.
Unsolved
Mm.
mysteries.
Yeah.
Mm-mm-mm.
Anyway.
Mm-hmm.
any other shows?
Oh,
Man.
me personally? Oh god. Okay. Here's one more Courage one that really freaked me out. It's called Perfect.
Perfect.
And
Oh
you are
yeah,
not perfect.
I don't
Oh.
remember
Yeah.
that one.
This show was like,
there's Feel Nightmare in there.
yeah.
Nightmare
I
Fuel.
think I should go back as an adult and watch that, because I feel like there's a lot of stuff that may have went over my head with
Probably.
Courage.
Well, I think this is kind of the age where they started kind of introducing those kinds of shows where cartoons were serious, maybe even a little bit more adult humor.
Yeah.
Mhm.
They didn't
Yeah.
treat their audience like idiots.
Yeah. For me, I mean,
Um,
of the original programming, where I'm sorry, am I
No.
totally stepping on you
I was just
again?
gonna say the only thing I want to talk about after we pass it around is Flapjack, because I have some very important things to say about that show.
Go on, Josh.
Yeah, so I mean, I was on my way out from the Cartoon Network, but I remember just loving Johnny Bravo. I just thought he was just so silly.
oh yeah.
He's so dumb.
That
Hey,
is
Mama.
a great.
Hey, pretty mama.
One of
I
my
just- for
favorite
some reason,
quotes
he was
that
just so
Tom
silly.
reintroduced me to that I still quote all the time is the glasses quote, where they did a crossover with Scooby Doo.
Oh, it's so
And
good.
Velma and Johnny Bravo both lose their glasses, and Velma says,
I can't see without my glasses.
and Johnny says,
I can't be seen without my glasses.
yeah. And I still quote it. to
It's
this day.
so good. It's like all the Scooby Doo crossovers are fucking brilliant.
Yeah,
Like
they were a lot of fun.
it's like the same antics, but then it's everything you love about the other show.
I
too.
just loved that every time in Scooby Doo, it was just like, and I would have gotten away with it if it wasn't for you pesky kids. You know, it was like,
meddling kids.
oh man,
The crossovers are just getting crazier now, though, because
Yeah.
it's
With
a lot
Supernatural.
of WWE and Supernatural.
I love the fact
John
that it has.
Cena.
Well, also like all the Hanna Barbera stuff are all crossover with comic books now. Like Jabberjaws with Aquaman, Bugs Bunnies with Superman, Duck Dodgers,
Oh,
Daffy
yeah.
the
is,
23rd century
is with the Green Lantern. Like these are
CSI New York is crossing over with CSI Miami,
Jesus.
Ollie's like,
which I did watch.
really-
Law and Order is crossing over with Walking Dead.
I would watch it.
Dun dun. But
These are the stories of The Walking Dead.
Okay, anyway, I would totally watch that.
I want to jump on this original program.
Do it.
Unless
Do
Caitlin,
it.
you want
Do
to jump
it.
in on this?
You go first.
I mean, Dexter was the first one for me, and Dexter's will always be like my first and my favorite. Like my sister and I were like my older sister Tammy. She was like Powerpuff Girls. I was like Dexter's Laboratory. Although I fucking love Powerpuff Girls, and I watched the movie when it came out in theaters because that shit was dope. But you know what they also did? They premiered it on Cartoon Network later because it was like it's our property. We could do whatever the fuck we want with it.
We'll do what we want.
And
Cartoons.
I was like, that's
That's
fucking
how
dope. Um,
just remember him saying that all the time.
Johnny Bravo, I fucking loved. Samurai Jack, which I felt like was the first time I got to see
Samurai
like
Jack was
an
amazing.
American version of an anime.
Which is confirmed it's the same universe as Powerpuff Girls.
Yeah,
It's a post-apocalyptic.
because it's Gendy
in the future.
Tarkovsky.
But
made
if
it.
you watch the show, there's like billboards and
That say, like,
buildings
Townsville or some
and stuff. Yeah.
Grim Adventures
The more you
of Billy and Mandy, which was first called Grim and Evil,
Mhm.
because they do an episode of Grim and then they do a mini episode of Evil Con Carne, which was an evil dictator who was in the body of a bear.
Shout out to Richard Horvitz,
Yeah.
who did
Oh.
Billy, who is also the voice of Zim,
Zim.
Invader Zim.
Invaders in.
Star Wars
That I know.
Clone Wars.
That you know. Okay.
I get that reference.
Star Wars Clone Wars. I fucking love Star Wars Clone Wars. It came out as a movie. Everyone fucking looked like wood, but the storylines were fucking great.
What?
Star Wars Clone Wars.
Oh yeah.
Everyone looked like fucking wood. It looks stupid.
Are you talking about the movie that came out first?
What?
Or the
Yeah.
TV show, or the
The-
I
animated
love
show?
that show.
The movie
The
and the
CG
show
show?
that came afterward, the CG
The
show.
cartoon?
I love the
The cartoon
CG
is
in
the
that.
Gendy Tarkovsky look,
It's
and
amazing.
the show is still Gendy Tarkovsky. Mega's XLR, which was like fucking giant robots, and
Trucker Mecha show.
this dude like who looked like Guy Fieri, like fucking had a red Corvette and just put on top of a mecha instead of like an actual like a head.
No, it wasn't.
It was like a monster truck, right?
It was a semi truck.
Whatever.
Wasn't it?
It's a truck. It's a red truck, a human vehicle on a giant alien robot, and like he fought other like robots and aliens with it, which is like the stupidest thing ever. But it was like I'm about it. Fucking Ben 10.
Yeah, that was past my time.
Love Ben 10. Ben 10.
Ben 10 was good.
Was created by Man of Action, but also was written by Dwayne McDuffie.
That might have been my stint at Nickelodeon where I started watching like Fairly Odd Parents and Johnny Phantom and stuff.
Danny Phantom?
Danny Phantom. Sorry, I was looking at Johnny
Johnny
Bravo as I
Phantom.
said
I
it.
was like, you mean the shows that I watched? Okay.
Phantom. Danny Phantom.
But Ben 10 was also written by Dwayne McDuffie, and Dwayne McDuffie helped write Static Shock. And Static Shock is a superhero that's now part of DC's world.
Mm-hmm.
And Dwayne McDuffie wrote most of all the great like DC shows.
Damn it.
And
Side note, Tommy, you were right. It was like a Corvette thing.
Yeah. But Ben 10 was about this kid who had this thing called the Omnitrix. And with it was like a wrist thing. And if you press the button, he could turn into aliens from around the galaxy. And then it later on had him
basically Beast Boy.
It later on had him like grow up. And then he became a teenager and he had to go through all these things. His enemies
Then
became
he was
his
Ben
friends.
19.
What's
And
Beast
then
Boy?
Ben 20 years
Well,
old.
they had an episode where they went to the
Corey,
future
no.
and it was called Ben 10,000.
Yeah.
And then he had to fight a guy named Kevin 11,000.
What's
But the voice actor for it was Yuri Lowenthal, who voices
Oh.
Spider-Man in fucking Marvel's 2018 Spider-Man. Like, and he also voices the English dub of Sasuke. Like,
Oh.
there was a lot of great stuff that came out of that show that like expanded and like broadened my horizons. Ollie, I hear you had something to say.
Oh, I was like, what's Beast Boy?
From Teen Titans?
Nope.
DC?
You don't know
Seen
what that is.
Okay, well, I'm moving on. Eddie.
That was on Warner Brothers and same as Batman.
When?
I don't know.
After I started watching cartoons on
I don't
TV.
know.
Probably.
Ed and Eddie. Chowder. Does
I think I had a lot to say about Ed and Eddie, and all you said was Ed and
Ed
Eddie.
and
Well,
Eddie.
I'm gonna come back. I'm
Chowder.
gonna come back. But I was like, Chowder. Does anyone know Chowder?
No.
Not
Chowder is about
really.
this fucking little bear cat mouse thing.
Yeah.
Where like he lives in a city that's literally made like all it is, everything's food. He's Chowder. The girl who likes him, his name's Panini. He works for a guy named Mungdal. His like main bodyguard's a guy named Schnitzel.
What happens in it?
They work out of a restaurant and they pretty much have to deliver food, and all he does is fuck it up. But then everything is like cute. Like instead of string beans, they have singing beans.
That
And if you
makes sense.
cook them right, they sing blues or they sing like folk music.
That's cute as fuck.
It's super cute. Everything's cute. One of their best friends' name is Gazpacho.
There's a word that I just never thought I'd hear come out of Tom's mouth.
Yeah, I'm
Cute.
actually.
It's super cute.
Chowder actually always kind of unsettled me for some reason. I don't
Chowder.
know if it was the art style or whatever.
Here's
but
the episode where Caitlin gets unsettled by our favorite
he-
show.
I know. But hearing Tom say it's cute somehow makes it more so.
It makes
More
sense.
so unsettling?
Yeah.
But Ed and Eddie. Okay, I'm gonna get this and then I'm gonna just give it to you guys. Ed and Eddie was made on a bet.
What?
It
Yeah.
was made on a bet. The guy, I don't. His name's like kind of crazy.
I'll look it up while you
His
tell the
name.
story.
He was like their opening. Cartoon Network was like opening up slots to make new programming, and they bet the creator and the animator like you can't make a show about nothing, and it's about three kids.
Danny Antonucci.
Danny Antonucci. And I was like, that name's crazy. But like every title sequence is like some fucking crazy Salvador Dali looking thing.
Yeah.
And it's about three kids, Ed, and Eddie. And
Which
Ed,
is his middle name, by the way, Edward.
and Ed, the middle Ed is with 2D, so they call him Double D. And they all follow Eddie, who just tries to like scam all the kids in their cul-de-sac in their little suburb out of
Neighborhood.
all their money. And so like you had all these characters who were like Ralph, who was the foreigner. You had Kevin, who was the asshole. You had Naz, who was the cool girl that everyone loved. You had Sarah, who was the little sister of Ed, who always protect Jimmy because Jimmy was a little bitch. Johnny, who was the kid who smelled bad, who would fucking plank as his imaginary friend, which was actually super powerful. And then you had the Kanker sisters. Oh my god! Like, and all of it took place like 3 seasons took place in the summer, and so it was like my favorite show to watch during the summer. And then all of a sudden, like I think started making new shows, and they were like, "Oh, we're gonna do it in the fall where they're in school." And I was like, "What the fuck is happening?"
I'm gonna hold back my my experience with Ed and Eddie.
Okay. whoa.
Wait, why?
You didn't like it?
I remember like the only thing I remember from it is switching to that channel. I guess when I had it, not liking the animation style and leaving the channel.
Oh, the stories are so good.
See, I
But I was young.
actually
You
am
were young.
the
Feeble.
same.
Like the thing I liked about it was the fact that like not one animation was great. Okay, I'll be the
No,
minority.
but here's the thing.
No, we'll be.
That's
there's
okay.
so many different kinds of animation that's the cool thing that I love
Well, no,
about
yeah,
Cartoon
exactly.
Network is every show on here. Yeah, there's kind of like some of them are like, it's this kind of animation style. It's this kind of animation style. And so it's like, that's what I love about Cartoon Network is there is something for everybody.
Well, the thing, I mean, we'll get into it with Adult Swim, but like I was watching anime, and then when I saw Family Guy, I thought it was a fucking atrocity
yeah.
because
Oh.
I'm like, these things look like fucking tumors.
Oh,
And then-
Oh, like the first few
Wow.
seasons are rough. They
Well,
are.
I mean, American animation,
Mhm.
like Matt
Huh.
Groening, Simpsons, Futurama. It took me a while to get used to it. And then I started watching other things, and I started watching Ed and Eddie. Like, and the thing I like about Ed and Eddie, it has the same kind of effect it has as Rubber Hose.
Mhm.
You know, Rubber Hose animation where everything keeps moving, like Cuphead.
Yeah.
well, it
Where
was supposed to be that way. It
everything
was
keep-
purposefully designed after the 40s.
like if you press pause again, you press pause again. Like every single like outline is different,
Mhm.
and they're always consistently moving. So your brain is always like processing information. And so like that's what I really loved about it. And then plus all their like expressions were very almost like Ren and Stimpy,
Mhm.
which I love too.
Oof.
yeah.
And they all had
See.
green and blue tongues.
That's probably why, because I really didn't like Ren and Stimpy.
Welcome to the show that Caitlin doesn't like anything that I like.
Isn't that strange?
I love
No.
this.
Normally, I like all the things.
I would say it's very different from Ren and Stimpy, in the sense
Yeah.
that Ren and Stimpy had highly detailed
Mhm.
drawings.
they would have, like, gross-ups.
Yeah.
very much like in line with SpongeBob is much more like Ren and Stimpy, where this is the animation style is much closer to a 1940s or 50s.
I just meant like the
Show.
expressions when they like got scared or something like that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Hmm.
I want to bring it back to Flapjack real quick, unless anyone else had something to say about any of these other shows.
I could talk
and the
on on.
importance about Flapjack to me. This little show, I believe created by Pendleton Ward. Let me double check that real quick. It's called The Misadventures of Flapjack. Sorry. Pendleton Ward is Adventure Time. This is Thurop Van Orman, and they are best friends, which isn't really nice to know. One of the writers on Flapjack was Pendleton Ward, and that's how he got his own show. But this show has Brian Doyle Murray, who is Bill Murray's brother, who plays Captain Knuckles. And the show centers around a kid on a port, where there's sailors and people come through for adventure, and their whole goal is to be adventurers and to get to this mythical place called Candied Island, where everything is made of candy and there's lemonade streams and lollipop trees and stuff like that.
It's Willy Wonka's factory.
But this show, I will go on record saying, is the reason we have shows like Adventure Time and the reason we have shows like Regular Show
And Rick and Morty.
and Rick and Morty. This is the show
that took a risk.
that allowed audiences to open that doorway. It is a wonderfully beautiful show. It has some great silly humor. There's a whole episode based around puns, which is a pun off, which is absolutely
dangerous.
amazing.
no
but
wonder you love it.
but one of my favorite episodes is called Gone Wishin'. And they, in this episode, or there's two episodes, the most beautiful man in the world. And they do this thing in this show that when they see something, they see this most beautiful man in the world. He takes off his mask and it cuts to like a board that they used to have for like silent films and cartoons back in the day. And it's usually people singing. So it'll be like the most beautiful man in the world. And
yeah.
that'll be like that. And then it'll cut back to the story. But Gone Wishin' is this episode where Captain Knuckles and Flapjack steal mermaid tears to make wishes.
Oh.
But they find out through the episode that each wish they make is slowly killing this mermaid. And, Flapjack starts having regrets about it. And Captain Knuckles, who's addicted to maple syrup, it gets him drunk. In a
Oh
sense.
my God.
It just keeps wishing and making wishes and being like, all right, well, we'll keep one wish and we'll wish the mermaid back to health. And he goes, all right, I wish for a hat and a hot dog. And all of a sudden you very quietly, because every time they make a wish, it goes, wish. And when he does that, it very subtly goes, wish, wish. And all of a sudden there's no more wishes left and this mermaid dies. But then she turns into this ball of light and into this angel. And she's like, thank you for making those wishes. Now I can be free from the sea. And da-da-da-da. And they're like, wow, this is beautiful. And she goes, just remember, Flapjack, always keep wishing and all your dreams will come true. And he goes, ha, even the scary ones? And it zooms in on her face and she goes, ha, yes. And then she flies away. But if you have the chance to somehow watch this show, I think there was only 1 or 2 seasons of it. It is beautiful. The animation style is wonderful. It's the same as regular show, Adventure Time, that kind of thing. And the writing, again, one of the writers is the creators of Adventure Time and stuff like that. So it's
sounds like it.
It is the reason that I continued to watch cartoons again. So yeah,
Wow.
there's that. I owe a lot to that show.
So there's that.
And then Toonami came along.
Oh, I want to give a tiny little shout out for the original programming to Hi Hi
Yes.
Puffy Amiyumi.
Yes. Okay, so can I?
Yeah.
You'll have your part.
Go ahead.
The only reason I knew about Hi Hi Puffy Amiyumi was because of the Teen Titans show.
Yep.
And then the Teen Titans Go, Let's Go theme song. And then that became super popular. I don't know why. And then they fucking had their own show. Now you take it away.
That was basically everything I was going to say.
Sorry.
It's okay. It's all right.
Wow.
I knew Tom was probably
Well,
going
tell
to
me
know
about it,
a
'cause
little
I
bit more
don't-
tidbits.
I still don't have a concept.
It's like
of
these
what
two
it is.
punk rock girls.
2 punk rock girls.
Okay.
They did
Line.
they did the theme song, and basically everyone loved it so much that it ended up getting its own show. And then it was
Like Josie and the Pussycats.
yeah, but it was the
But
2 punk
Were they
girls.
characters
But
inside?
these are like,
But they made like an animated show of Ami and Yumi.
and they're
Oh, they were real life people that
They
did
were
the
real
theme
life
song
people
for
that
Teen
did the
Titans.
theme song for Teen Titans.
and that song, and they became so popular. They got a show.
everyone
They got a
loved
show
Puffy
where they had
Ami
animated
so
versions of
much
them.
that they made an animated
Got
show for Ami.
You and I made a
Yumi.
song. They got
Got
so
it.
popular. Hi Hi Tommy Ali Uli.
Click.
And then we fight fucking monsters and shit.
Let's do it, man. I'm excited for that.
We have to get Cartoon Network first. So,
Hey.
but
I'll go
yeah,
in there.
that
I'll
was-
store.
that
I'll kick
was,
down the door. Be like,
My
I don't care
shout
what
out.
you guys got
Thanks,
here.
Tom.
There you go.
Yeah.
I thought you had more because I thought you might have watched the show.
Nope. That was my special shout out because I remember
Oh.
liking it.
There
Oh.
you go.
That was all.
There's also another shout out that we should have from someone that visited the Nerd on HQ.
Yeah.
Yes.
Corey, would you like to take it away?
Me?
Yeah.
Why am I taking it away?
Because Tom feels bad that he took it away from me.
I was gonna talk about Toonami for a little bit.
Oh, well,
What were you gonna talk about?
so we're gonna talk about some kind of bear.
Oh, We Bare Bears.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's a later show. That came out.
It's still a Cartoon Network.
That
original
came out
program.
about 2-3 years ago.
Yeah,
something like that. My wife has been on it a few times, which is really cool. But it's a show with Dimitri Martin and what's his name? Bobby Moynihan from SNL, and I forget who plays Grizz. But they're these 3 bears who just go into society.
who live amongst humans.
Yeah, who live amongst humans. And they just treat them. It's really nice because people aren't like, oh my god, there's a bear here. They just like treat them normal,
and it's on
really kinda
Netflix.
cool.
So you can watch it.
It's a lot of fun. I'm a huge fan of Dimitri Martin, so getting to see him as a polar bear, emotionless polar bear, is probably one of my favorite things. But I wanted
Nice.
to talk of just a few minutes about Toonami because this was my gateway drug to anime. And it started with a little show called Rurouni Kenshin.
See how I do like the derpy version?
Yeah, thanks, Tom. I appreciate that, man. Just shitting on everyone's shitting on my childhood today.
Thanks, Ollie.
Well, hang on.
But,
Like I had
Shitting on
any-
your childhood. I don't
So-
know about that.
But yeah, so Toonami was a show I watched with my buddy Chris Carlin. Shout out to Chris Carlin.
For those of the uninitiated, what is Toonami?
It was a small segment. I don't remember. It was like only a couple hours a day.
4 to 7.
Yeah. 3 hours a day where they took old anime shows and would replay them on Cartoon Network for the Americas. And yes?
English dub for life.
Yeah, English dubs. But I started with Kenshin, this little show called. My buddy Chris invited me over to his place after
Shout out to
school
Chris.
to do homework, and he was like, "I'm gonna put on Kenshin," and I was like, "The fuck is Kenshin?" He was like, "Watch this," and he had been taping them all because that was what we used to do
What
on
a gangster.
VHSs.
Yeah.
Yep.
We used to have them hooked
Yep.
up to the TV, and you could press record, and
And you
So
never did your homework again.
he had like the first 5 episodes that had aired. And he put on one, and then he stopped it, and I was like, "Well, we could do one more. I don't know. We can watch another." And we ended up watching all 5 that day.
I'm gonna
And
take off my
then
pants. It's
he was like, "Yeah, it's on Toonami," and I was like, "What the fuck is Toonami?" So we watched that, and we watched Yu Yu Hakusho, and I was, sold from there. And those were my 2 jams for a long time. And then I found out about like Cowboy Bebop and stuff like that. So I have a lot to thank for Toonami, for showing me the ways. What about you, Tom?
Also, another thing that contributed to me not watching a lot of Cartoon Network was the fact that I didn't watch a lot of TV, period.
There you go. That'll do
Like,
it.
Yeah, Destiny happens.
For most of my middle,
Oh my
I'm just gonna
God.
blaze. Don't worry, I just go right past it.
Yeah.
Just go right over.
He just goes right past.
When I was in middle school and elementary school, we had, because both my parents worked full time. We had after school programs where we would walk to like the neighboring elementary school.
So you're better than us, huh? You're smarter than
Yes.
us,
Well, I'd
huh?
be there
Yes.
till like
Yes.
5 p.m. Then
Uh-huh.
we'd come home,
Yes.
like have dinner. I'd maybe watch like, no, I actually during those days, I don't think I watched anything in the evening until like did all my homework, had dinner. And then afterward we watched like primetime, like live shows,
Yeah.
like Friends and stuff.
Okay. It was like a family event.
Yeah.
Nice.
So we would watch TV shows like that. And then the weekend was really the only time I watched cartoons, and it was in the morning, like Saturday morning cartoons, but on like on
WB.
network cable.
On
Yeah.
ABC.
Yeah.
Winnie the Pooh.
So that's
Tigger too.
that's also part of it. And then there was absolutely the phase where I was too cool for cartoons
Wow.
in high school and played gobs of video games.
Yeah.
Gobs.
Gobs.
Yeah.
So you think you're better than me? Okay. You want to fight about
in
it?
summary, I am better than
I was gonna
Tom.
say, say after me. Yes.
In
Yes.
summary, I am better than Tom.
But that because I had watched Dragon Ball Z growing up, but I didn't open a door for me to anything else like this did, like Toonami did.
I got into Toonami because I was watching Pokemon, then I was watching Digimon, and then I was watching Beyblade, and then I was like,
And then you went full on to the heroin.
and then
you
no, someone was like,
No.
some kids were in the schoolyard was fighting up some shit and was like, nah, Piccolo's way cooler than Vegeta. Someone was like,
Because he is.
nah, Gohan's cooler than Goku. I was like, what the fuck are y'all talking about? Are we speaking English anymore? And then they're like, it's
Yeah,
Dragon Ball Z.
No.
Technically not.
No.
And then I was like, and they're like, it's Dragon Ball Z. What the hell is Dragon Ball Z? And then out of nowhere, it was kind of like where we are with ads now. Like I just saw it on every TV channel where it's like, look at the new Dragon Ball Z toy. I was like, what the fuck? What is? How did I sleep for like a year and then a new show
Yeah.
came out?
Yeah.
And then everywhere
Yeah.
Dragon Ball Z was there. And then I was like, on 4 p.m. on Toonami. I was like, what the? Dad, what is a Toonami and how do we get it?
Yeah.
And I was like, this is it. Channel Toonami. It's like channel 26. Wait. 4 o'clock.
Put it
goes
on
by.
my tab.
4 o'clock goes by. Nothing happens. What the fuck is going on? There's no Toonami. 4:05 goes by. Nothing happens. 4:06. Nothing happens. Go 2 channels down. Channel 24. Then Toonami happened. And then I saw fucking Rock the Dragon, the dope English opening for this godlike show, Dragon Ball Z. And then my pants never grew back.
Oh my god.
They just exploded immediately with all the fucking screaming you could have in the world.
That's why he
I
never
remember-
wears pants.
That's why he never wears
it
pants.
makes a lot of sense now.
In high school, I was able to get home in time for Pokemon whenever it aired.
4 p.m.
4 p.m.
No, it's
Then
3, I think 3:30 and 4 p.m.
3:30 and 4, yeah.
Yeah,
That was like it. It was just Pokemon.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, with that, I mean, that's where I saw my first Gundam show, and Gundam is part of a fucking royal legacy
oh
line.
man.
Oh, yeah.
First,
There's
my
so
first
much
one was
Gundam.
not even like really part of the fucking universe. It's G Gundam, where the Gundams have superpowers, which isn't a thing.
Mhm.
But then later on, like Ronin Warriors and like Sailor Moon. Like I fucking watched the shit out of Sailor Moon. But then like
He says with such like, I watched the shit.
I watched the
Sailor
shit
Moon.
out of
Oh my
some Sailor
God.
Moon. You know what I'm saying?
But are you hardcore enough of a fan that you've seen the live action Sailor Moon?
Fuck no.
I watched all of that.
I'll watch
No,
the
you're supposed to
anime.
go, I watched the shit out of that.
No, I watched. There's so many.
There,
I lost so
You sounded
much
so
of my
scared.
life.
Oh.
I was. You have no idea.
but then Caitlin would like this. This is Toonami also gave my first taste of the harem genre, a harem genre.
Oh yeah, Tenchi Muyo.
Tenchi
Tenchi
Muyo.
Muyo.
Harem.
So good.
And Tenchi
Ryoko.
Universe.
What's
and it's
that?
like everything. So the harem genre is with one dude,
Ollie's like,
shit ton of girls,
I'm in.
and it's like, which one is he gonna be? Who's the waifu? Who's
It's basically
the
a
OTG?
smorgasbord of women all surrounding one male character, and the whole show is which one do you want?
And the
Main
male character is typically really bland and
Oh.
boring.
and it's an insert yourself
Story.
into this scenario.
just
and
said-
then
Oh.
What time is it on?
But you know,
And
I
where
know.
can I stream it on
but you know
demand?
where I also watch on this
Cartoon
channel.
Network.
Crunchyroll?
You know where I
Cartoon
also
Network.
what I also watched, Ollie? Out fucking Lost Star.
Ah, yes.
That's where I saw fucking
was- yeah.
Gene with his red hair and his fucking little numbered bullets.
little coat.
Outlaw Star I saw on DVD. Same with
Did it say Cartoon
Cowboy
Network?
Bebop.
Wait, was,
And all the Cartoon Network shows that I've seen have been on Hulu.
Oh,
That's my. So I still haven't
it's not
had
that he hasn't
Cartoon
seen
Network.
it.
He
All
just
of these
refuses
shows,
to
he's
see
like, oh, yeah.
Cartoon Network itself.
I
was,
don't think he refuses.
was
His
Trigun
parents went
on
no.
Toonami?
I think it was on
And I was
Adult
like,
Swim first.
I can afford it myself
Okay,
now.
That sounds
Yeah.
right.
I think it was at 1 a.m.
Yeah.
Yep,
It was super late.
it
I
was.
definitely went out of my way to watch
But like
that.
Big O, anyone know Big O?
No.
Big O. Which one was
Big
that?
O, Batman, Bruce Wayne in a fucking giant mech in a fucking domed out city, and he has to fight other giant mechs.
I
Wait, what
do
is this?
not
So
remember
Gundam.
this.
It was Batman, so his name is
Bruce Wayne.
Something it's Rob the Negotiator or something like that. And he's a sexy ass
Big
dude.
O.
He's got a fucking like butler, and he would just fucking use his watch like Big O, and then a giant fucking robot comes out from the ground, and he jumps into it and fights other robots, and he has a
Big
fucking suit the entire
O.
time.
So it's like
dope.
Batman.
He is like
So it's like Batman watched the Power Rangers watched Gundam.
yeah,
Okay.
but there's a huge
No, bigger.
Oh!
Big O,
You
but
said it's Batman.
is Batman, but like also
he should have said
It's
it's
not.
basically Batman.
but
It's
also
basically- yeah, that was
there's
very
a
confusing.
huge
I blacked
twist.
out after you said Batman.
there's a huge
so-
twist, and so it's really really cool.
Just like the spiral energy from Gurren Lagann.
Fucking Zoids.
Freakazoid. I watched that.
Zoids was like pilots into animal robots. It's like I have a game up there. Yes, Josh, you
Yes.
did see the name.
What?
in our collection.
Wasn't G Gundam on there too with the chibi robots?
Oh, of course,
Yeah.
of course. It was just
Did-
probably later.
Did I? Oh my god. Did I mention that I'm actually in Gundam? A Gundam.
You haven't mentioned it on a show,
Not
but
here.
I've known.
Oh, okay. Gundam Thunderbolt. I got to be a character. I am canonically part of the Gundam universe.
There you go.
Nice.
Nerd On is part of the Gundam universe.
It's true.
Check out her toy. That's probably going to be on that one show, Gundam.
I talked for like a second,
Fighters.
so I don't know about that. But
You didn't need to say that. I didn't hear that.
oh, okay. It
You were
didn't
on there for a
exist.
long time.
I was on there for forever.
Recurring main character.
Did anyone know
Much longer than any of us were on it.
13
Yeah.
seasons.
Aw.
Did anyone-
Aw, Corey.
Did anyone watch Hamtaro?
No.
Hamtaro?
Hamtaro.
yes, I
were
watched
these
Hamtaro.
little hamsters. And they,
Hamtaro made me
Hamtaro.
feel uncomfortable.
Bum, bum,
They-
bum, bum, bum,
they
bum,
have,
bum.
like,
I don't give a
little-
shit. I enjoyed it.
they have little adventures. It was the cutest thing ever.
Bijou,
This is the cute. I
The
came
Bay?
home and I would eat like food and then watch that shit. Like, ugh.
when they eat sunflowers, and you're like, I'm gonna have popcorn.
if
It's
you
like
want
the same.
if you just want something that feels good and watch Hamtaro.
Ah.
Hamtaro, like their problems
It
are so
warms
minuscule.
your heart.
It really does. It really does.
They're like, my master lost her ribbon. I'm gonna go find it, and then that's the whole show. They
Finding
just
the ribbon?
find the ribbon, and then they return it, and she's like, "Oh, you're
Nice.
the best hamster. I didn't know that you went out and got this ribbon, but it's back magically. It's the best."
Well, of
Hamsters,
course.
man.
Anyone watch Transformers
No.
after the G1
No.
series?
Yep, I did.
So like the mini cons and the Armada?
No, I watched Beast Wars.
Yeah, I watched Beast Wars. Beast Wars was the shit.
You
That
said
was on-
after that. You didn't say
I
how
thought you
far.
said
You're true, you're
Bead
right.
Wars.
Well,
Beast
it's
Wars.
Transformers Beast Wars, and then they totally was like, it's the Descendants. But this is like based on like actual after the events of G1 universe.
Beast Wars, my brother and I watched like religiously and with tape. Like I think we had to tape the episodes, or I don't know when it
Is that
aired, but
Nickelodeon?
I don't
It
know
must
what
have
that
been
was.
a net. I think
I
it was
think
a
that-
network.
Who had it?
Was
It
that
must have
the
been a network or something, like Fox or something.
Probably.
Because I remember that and Pokemon were like the thing that we watched, and we had like all the toys and all the.
So let
Transformers.
me sell you what
Nope, that was Cartoon Network.
motherfucker.
I
Hey,
must
look
have
at
known I
that.
had it.
Cartoon Network. Dude, Beast
tell-
Wars. Can we
I'm
talk about,
telling-
we can talk about
Couldn't
Beast Wars then.
No, hold on.
Holy shit, Beast Wars.
I'm telling you,
That
Ollie,
show was
you are putting blinders
amazing.
on Cartoon Network because you have a vendetta against them.
Here's the
I have
thing
a
about Beast
vendetta
Wars.
Okay,
against
so
you.
sell us on Beast Wars.
Beast Wars was so I had watched the original Transformers cartoon. This was suddenly we're stepping into computer generated
Yeah.
TV shows.
Windows 95 fucking
And
graphics.
at the time, it blew my goddamn little mind. I could not comprehend that these aren't real. How are these?
They're
How
so
is
real.
this gorilla turning into a robot?
Exactly.
I don't know. It had amazing characters. In fact, I will go on record to say that I love Beast Wars more
Beast
than
Mores and Schwarz.
more than regular Transformers.
Beast s'mores.
Like I would prefer
Really?
if they scrapped the fucking series they're doing now, the movie and
So-
the series or whatever, and they just went straight to Beast Wars.
Real quick, Caitlin, do you know what Beast Wars the story is?
I can't say that I do.
Take us away, Tom.
So Transformers, the fucking series is Optimus Prime, his fucking Autobots, and Megatron and his fucking Decepticons fighting on Earth because they fucked up Cybertron. They go back to Cybertron, find out like, yo, Unicron's gonna destroy this fucking shit. Optimus and the fucking Autobots win.
Yeah.
Right? It's just robots fighting robots. Beast Wars takes place far into the Autobot and like Transformer future, where their descendants who are smaller, human size, landed or are fighting in space with the Decepticons descendants called the Predacons. So Maximals and Predacons are fighting now, years, centuries later, way past our time, but they get trapped into our past on a primal, primitive Earth where dinosaurs live. And so in order to survive on an energon, which is their power source, rich environment, they must take the forms of these animals to protect their Cybertronian
Much
metal.
like how Transformers, when they came to Earth, took the form of cars.
Right.
They come to Earth and they take the form of animals.
Gorillas, dinosaurs.
Optimus Primal
Pretty sweet.
becomes
cool.
a gorilla, and like there's
Their hot rod wannabe is Cheetor, Rat Trap.
My favorite one was the Fire Ant.
Oh,
because
Inferno.
he went crazy.
I remember.
He went
What's his line?
fucking insane.
What's his line?
For the glory of the royalty, and he would just start shooting everywhere.
Fucking miniguns. Handheld miniguns.
It was pretty
But
sweet.
there was some really sad shit. Like one of the guys who was a good guy
Tigertron.
became a bad guy.
Oh,
And then there was because his
Spark.
his thing malfunctioned and he became something else. He was
It's-
supposed to be a Dinobot.
So weird.
And the guy who became a raptor,
he
was supposed to be a good guy.
Well, he was a Predacon.
Yeah.
And then he was like, yo, fuck the Predacons because they have no honor. I want honor. I'm going to become a Maximal.
yeah,
And became
he'd switch sides.
And then he sacrificed himself.
yeah. And do you remember Silver Fox?
Yes,
The dumbest line in the entire series. I think my name is Silver Fox now.
Stupid.
Yes,
So
Silver
What?
Fox.
Because they started blending animals. So a wolf that combined with like a hawk. And there was Tigertron that was like a tiger with a falcon.
Tigertron was the jam though.
Tigertron's fucking dope.
He was a white tiger, and it
Fucking
just looked awesome.
Death Charge was the best.
I
He was a
think
fucking bounty
I
hunter.
actually had a toy for the Cheetah one.
yeah,
Cheetor.
Cheetor, or at least I found one, but I'm
What?
very unsettled.
Beast Wars aired on Fox in 1999.
You know where it originally aired? Cartoon Network.
Great. That's not where I saw it.
We can still talk about it though. I'm just excited about it because you can talk about it.
I'll tell you this
Doesn't
right
matter
now.
where you watched it.
Yeah,
I'll
but
tell you
I
this
didn't
right-
know
Just
though.
because we can have Ollie in it. One of my favorite fucking aspects of that is fucking the voice actor for Optimus Primal.
Yeah.
I love Peter Cullen as Optimus,
Primal.
but this guy as Optimus Primal, like he was super heroic to me. Not like I'm all father I know things where Optimus was, but very much like I'm a leader, I'm a young leader, and I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
But like I love this version of Megatron. And this Megatron, he's
Mm-hmm.
like, I'm named after the fucking great Megatron. Great. The first Megatron fucking sucked. He's an idiot. He got fucking usurped all the time. But this Megatron was like, every time he had a plane, he's like, yeah.
I loved that version of Optimus Primal. Like
He was so great.
I don't know the terms, but the best version of him,
Mhm.
where he's like blue and orange.
That's Optimal Optimus when he combines himself with the Matrix of Leadership and then holds Optimus Prime's spark in himself to protect him. So he takes the form of an ancient Autobot.
Yeah.
So it's super. I had that toy.
I had a toy too.
Oh, it's such a good toy.
It had 3 different transformations,
Yeah.
right? The
4.
truck. 4? Oh yeah, the plane.
Because it could be a plane, it could be a tank, it
The
could be a
tank.
gorilla, and it could be him.
And it could be
Oh
him.
God, Ron Perlman voiced him in the movie.
No, he voiced him in the new Machinima show.
Yeah, Power of the Autobots, and then it was
Voiced.
the guy
Voiced.
you're talking about is Gary
Voiced.
Chalk. Gary Chalk did
Ron
Beast Wars.
Ron Perlman, I love that dude. It was cool, and they just retconned the entire fucking Beast Wars, which
Oh, that
is weird.
sucks.
I know this is like derailing, but was it Reboot also?
Yes,
on Cartoon
Reboot
Network?
is a show. It was on Toonami, I think. first.
Toonami.
And they have a new show on it on Netflix now.
Yeah, but was it a live action? No, it was
CGI.
another.
It was
just
another
CG
Computer
one.
generated thing.
But man, gotta say, hexadecimal was the shit.
I have no idea what that is.
Ugh.
That makes me uncomfortable.
Well, that's fine. I'm okay with that. You being uncomfortable doesn't affect my enjoyment of the show.
That's true.
True.
Inferno was the one I was thinking of.
Yeah.
He was supposed to be a good guy.
Yeah. They got to his proto form too late, and the Decepticons took it.
Yeah.
Josh, do you have a Beast Wars thing?
For the glory of the royalty.
There you go.
That's gonna be my season 3 catch line.
Thing is, I watched
Instead
it.
of I'm not wearing hockey
But you don't
pads,
have like
it's
a
gonna be-
hard memory of it.
No. I mean, I remember loving it. There are other things on TV I remember.
I'm going to
I know that I had a lot of the toys. It was something that I watched a lot, but I don't have such ingrained memories.
That
of
was
it.
also part of it too, where I was not an exploratory like viewer. Like
Yeah.
I loved Batman, I loved Pokemon, and like I was content with
Fuck
those two
everything
shows.
else.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I didn't really give.
Everything is a buffet.
Jackie Chan Adventures.
Oh,
Yeah.
we're not talking about that.
I know.
This
I'm
is
sorry.
not
I'm sorry. I'm
WRS.
sorry.
But Josh, since
Loved
by the
that
time
show.
this episode comes out, again, you were deep, knee deep, ankles, elbows deep, neck deep in Red Dead Redemption.
Yes.
I want to send you the Saga of Death Charge because
Okay.
he is like a fucking Western bounty hunter,
Sweet.
and he's just fucking trying to kill this like murderous monster.
Sweet.
Dude. It's dope.
Okay.
I think you'd like the character a lot.
Sweet.
I want to bring us to the last little section to talk about is some Adult Swim shows before we wrap it up here.
Oh, so many shows.
Full
I'm
metal.
gonna skip Rick and Morty simply because we did a full episode on it,
Mhm.
Yeah.
just for the
Needless to
sake
say.
of that. But we have shows like Robot Chicken. We have shows like Boondocks,
See
The
that
Mighty Boosh.
2021.
We have Tim and Eric. We have the Eric Andre Show, Trigun. A
Case
lot of shit on
closed.
here. Like Aqua Teen Hunger Force is amazing.
Eli 5 me.
Eli 5U? What is that?
Explain like I'm 5.
Oh, have you seen Aqua Teen Hunger
I
Force?
have, but for our
Okay.
uninitiated.
You haven't seen it?
No.
So Aqua Teen Hunger Force is that same animation where
Oh, yeah, where
people
limbs
like
just move.
around like have you seen
Like
Archer?
Archer?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like that. It is Master Shake.
Who is a fucking milkshake?
He's a milkshake. Master Fry.
Oh, is it the thing where it's like a burger
A
and
meatball.
It's a meatball, a fry, and a
there-
milkshake.
That's okay. So I've
And
seen
they're
like
neighbor Carl, who I
I
love.
haven't seen any episodes.
It's another one of those shows that was just like super gritty and almost feels like it was made again on a dare, even though it wasn't. But it's actually got wonderful story arcs, really good characters, and I will go on record saying that the voice of Shake
Oh, it's
makes
fucking
me
amazing.
laugh like no other voice besides maybe John H. Benjamin. Like his voice alone as Master Shake is the funniest shit I've ever heard.
Side note: who's John H. Benjamin?
He plays Archer.
He's also
Oh,
Bob
okay, that
and
makes
Bob's
sense.
Burgers.
Is
Yeah.
Tom Green involved in
Oh.
that show in any way?
Tom Green? I don't think so.
But
But Meatwad is amazing.
since you're talking about the show,
Yeah.
two of my favorite moments from that show is when fucking Master Shake gets the fucking Brood Witch, which is this demonic, evil fucking sandwich, and if you eat it, then you can like, your soul goes away, but it's like the most delicious sandwich. And this fucking demon dude underneath their house is like telling him, like, if you eat it, your soul's ours. He's like, but I want it, and so he eats it, right? And he's like, oh, your soul's ours. And he's like, what the fuck is that? And it's like, you see, it's like, oh, those are the sun-dried tomatoes. I don't like those. He's like, but you have to eat those. No, I don't want it. But your soul has to be mine. If you don't eat the whole sandwich, you don't. What?
Yeah.
So it's
I
just
don't like
like
sun-dried tomatoes.
he just fucking makes a loophole. The second one is Carl, who's like their fucking fat bullshit neighbor who's like an asshole. He starts losing weight. And he's like, yeah, man, I'm working out. And he's like, I got these paradise bars. He's eating them. Yeah, man, it's all good. And
Or the
everyone's like,
Paradise Bars.
and everyone's like,
Yes.
oh shit, man, he's losing a lot of weight. And it isn't until the very end. It's like this fucking B plot thing. And at the very end, he's like fucking scraggly, sickly, machinist looking. You're like, what the fuck is wrong with him? And he's like, oh, I don't feel so good. And then Fry, who's the reason of logic, or the voice of logic, voice of reason, looks at the bar. He's like, these aren't paradise bars. These are parasite bars.
Oh,
And so all of a sudden, out of nowhere, a fucking like monster opens out of his body, like in Men in Black.
Yeah.
It just
Rips
crawls.
his skin out and like, runs away.
It's fucking amazing.
is that how he dies?
No,
he comes back in the
he
next
comes back
episode.
in.
It's one of those shows where like anything
Oh.
could happen and it resets at the beginning.
I think we have to
essentially.
bring up
Oh.
the incident with that show,
What was that?
the Y2K incident.
I don't remember this.
So
Oh my God, the
Yeah,
bombs.
the bombs.
Yes.
Yeah.
the promotion for the show, there were these things called the Moonanites,
Yeah.
and they were like these little fucking 8-bit,
And his
6-bit
voice was
purple thing.
wonderful. So his voice was so calming.
And all they do was just flip you off with fucking one little pixel.
Yeah. Just
but-
walked around like this.
Adult Swim, the network, and as well as Cartoon Network, Turner's fucking company got fucking blasted for this because preparing for like a new season or for the new year, they left packages all around the city of
with the little moon knights on them.
all around the city in a fucking like design of the Moon Knight as well. But everyone thought these suspicious fucking packages were bombs. And so everyone had this huge bomb scare and a fucking backlash on them.
Where are
And
they supposed to be?
They were just like promotional fucking like bags. But they were just hidden. And so they look like a backpack. When you found a backpack on your front door, you're
Like,
like,
did they have like goodies in it or
I
whatever?
think so. So it's like,
So people just were too afraid to open it, probably.
They got
Yeah.
like bomb squads out, and it was
Jesus.
really bad. So they look like these guys, and they were
Moonlight.
just on the packaging
Oh.
everywhere.
Corey's showing the Moonanites right now.
Yeah. And they got in a lot of trouble for that. But then the show went on and did fine.
Yeah.
So there's that.
They had a movie and stuff too, right?
Mhm.
Speaking of like older adult shows, I'm just sticking for the American audience.
Mhm.
Oblongs.
Audience. The Oblongs with Will Ferrell.
Okay, this is
So
my first
Only 8 episodes.
my first
think.
Will Ferrell
Really?
show. Like my first encounter of him.
Oh, wow.
Like after that, I think it was probably like Elf, and then like
Oh.
Anchorman, and then
Oh.
Step-
So explain it to me like I'm 5.
Oblongs is about these people who live at the bottom of a hill. There's this pretty much this dysfunctional family, and they pretty much is like keeping up with the Joneses, where the Joneses are these hill family fucking rich people, but all
It's
the
a play on the nuclear family.
yes, because they all live on the bottom of a hill where there's nuclear radiation, and all the family members are affected. Or all the neighborhoods are affected
Mhm.
because there's that kid with the fucking ass
Yep.
that like needs a bra to wear it.
Yep.
The wife doesn't have hair, so she wears a giant wig. The dad doesn't have limbs, but they have sex every night, and it's like ridiculous. And like the son only could grow one hair, and his eye is lazy. It's like it was just cool, crazy stuff that happened on that.
So
those
cool.
few now.
it is I'll be honest,
Sounds
it's a
cool.
really hilarious show.
That I mean, as well as like Mission Hill.
I didn't watch that one.
I really like Mission Hill. Mission Hill had the same kind of vibe.
Moral Oral?
More oral. Mission
The
Hill had the same
claymation
vibe
show?
as like as a heartfelt Futurama episode.
Did anyone watch Home
Mm.
Movies?
I watched home movies
Metalocalypse?
where he would.
I did watch Metalocalypse.
Metalocalypse was a great show.
I liked Metalocalypse.
Same maker as
that,
Home Movies.
That makes sense. It
Uh,
makes a lot of sense.
Home Movies is a show actually based off Dr. Katz, which was another show that guy created, a little short, I believe online or a show. Home Movies, it was about these 3 kids who would make home movies. And the thing that drew such a large audience to it was a cartoon with really mundane banter in the sense of how they talked. They would talk over each other, which is never seen on cartoons really. And eventually the conversations would like escalate and become like a cacophony a little bit. But it was basically the world's introduction to John H. Benjamin.
Yes.
Hmm.
He was the
and
coach.
he plays Coach McGuff.
Oh, so good.
And it's if you get a chance to check out a few episodes here and there, I would strongly suggest you do so. It's made by Brendan Smalls, who made Metalocalypse later on in life,
Mhm.
and actually has a metal band of his own, and plays Death Clock live.
Not surprised.
That name, is that a real person?
Brendan Small or Smalls?
No, the
Yeah.
one that Tom repeated with you.
Coach.
Coach McGuff or John H.
Yeah.
Benjamin.
That.
John H. Benjamin. He plays Archer. He's the voice of Archer.
Oh,
He's
okay.
the voice of the Mart guy. And,
He's Bob in Bob's
Yeah,
Burgers.
Family
Got it.
Guy. He's the guy who owns the.
He made a cameo
That was
Master
his
of
first
None.
thing?
Yeah, that was his basically the world introduction to John H. Benjamin.
Okay.
Tim and Eric already talked about one of my favorite shows of all time.
And a lot of these shows on the bot that we're mentioning now
Venture Bros.
are
Okay,
syndicated shows too.
this is the last one I'm going to talk about. Venture Brothers. Has anyone else here seen Venture
I've
Brothers?
seen
or
Venture
watched-
Brothers.
Some.
Again, it's another. It's
It's the Johnny Quest on its head.
spin-off. So Venture Brothers is kind of what got me into Adult Swim when I was in like high school. Venture Brothers is about Rusty Venture and his 2 sons, Dean and Hank, and their bodyguard, who is played by who's the guy who plays Joe in Family Guy? What's his name? I'm blanking right now.
Swanson. I know what you're talking about.
I don't remember the
Joe?
actor's name.
I haven't really
But we all
watched
know
Family Guy.
he's a deep voice guy.
We
Patrick
all know.
Warburton?
Yes, thank you. It's voiced by Patrick Warburton, and it's this show about Rusty Venture and his nemesis, the Monarch, and his girlfriend, Dr. Girlfriend,
the Monarch.
who sounds like this. This is Dr. Girlfriend. And it's
great.
such an absurd parody of Johnny Quest and shows of that time.
Well, so
Adventure
the
shows.
idea of Johnny Quest is like it's a fucking kid who has like this fucking like adult dude who's like his bodyguard, and they go on adventures. This show is about what if that kid grew up
Yeah,
and he had 2 kids of his own,
yeah.
and it's like the same antics still happen, except the fucking main adventurer is like old and doesn't give a shit anymore.
But
And
his rival does. His
Yeah.
rival is still after him.
His
The
rival's still
Monarch is
trying to chase those golden days.
And it's such a great tongue-in-cheek show that a lot of it went over my head in high school, and I've since rewatched it, and it's almost a joke a second. Like, it's so well written, and Patrick Warburton does such a great job as Brock Sampson. This like totally over the top bad, like the season 1 finale. He drives his Dodge Charger into a flying ship and kills 100 people with a knife. Like that's
and he comes out, he's still alive.
and he's like covered in blood and just like, let's go, we're going. So
he's fucking dope.
If again, I'm gonna say I've noticed this like 10 times. If you get a chance to watch that show, I have the whole first season on DVD. I would gladly lend to you.
I want to make
watch.
a comment about, was it Dr. Girlfriend?
Yeah.
She was drawn in a way.
Mm-hmm.
And when I started watching the show, we all know where this is going. There was another show on Spike TV called Stripperella, which starred Pamela Anderson, and she was drawn in a way.
She was drawn away.
And there's just started becoming this thing, this pattern of like animation started drawing the female body in such a way, or revealing parts of the body in such a way that I started to have feelings.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I did
Strange things
I
were
did not
happening.
want these feelings to happen on a 2-dimensional thing.
Mm.
And I like, it kind of steered me away for like a long time, but it was also kind of like, but that ass though. You know, I was like, it was a very hard time because I really tried to draw.
It was a hard time. Oh,
I really
Do you want to?
I really didn't mean to do that. But
Do you
like,
want to guess the first time that happened to me with cartoon?
Robin Hood, the Disney movie.
that's me, you
No,
idiot.
Oh.
Bo Peep, Toy Story.
No, it was April.
Jasmine, Aladdin,
April O'Neil. Ms. Turtles.
Oh.
Neil.
But also, why
Redheads. Redheads.
was Babs Bunny in Space Jam so
You're
seductive?
talking about Lola Bunny?
Lola Bunny.
God damn it.
Why was she
Wow.
so seductive? She's bending over, picking up a basketball. I'm like,
Because
can you not?
anyway,
Dr. Girlfriend.
Anyways,
what we're trying to say is Cartoon Network is amazing and continues to make amazing things. Yes?
I still want to.
Continue.
I was going to talk about like a bunch
This
of all
is
the anime.
Tom show.
This is
It's
the Tom
not
show, guys. Well, also Caitlin can join me on this because I feel like she got me backed up on this.
Man, case closed. Full Metal Alchemist.
Pick one you want to talk about.
Oh, it's hard.
Why don't you start, Tom, and she'll pick one.
She said.
The one that we all
It is what I said.
all the ones that none of us have looked at, and then it's FLCL, which is Fooly Cooly, which was the most high octane action anime, light anime that I've ever seen. Like, it takes place in a city where this girl who rides like a fucking yellow Vespa moped
Mhm.
hits this kid with her guitar, and
In
then
the
all of a sudden a
face.
giant machines start coming out of his head.
Mhm.
The first one's like this guy with the TV head, and everyone starts thinking it's a god. Like, it's drawn in such a way where like everything
Did you
looks
say
like,
light anime?
it's a light anime. So light animes are typically like one season, and they're not supposed to last that long.
Oh,
They're not supposed to be like long shonens or epics or anything like that, or have heavy
Like Kenshin is
storylines.
a million episodes.
Yeah.
Literally.
I'm gonna learn you what animes is.
I'm waiting for it.
Yeah, it's only one season, and it came back recently, like last 2 years ago, or last
No,
year.
this-
This year or
This
last
year. This year.
recently, and it was because so many people loved this fucking show. I haven't watched it, but like they did a lot of cool art style things where like they would go to like black and white and make it look like an anime, like a manga strip, which was dope. So it was just I just love the show, and like the way that they escalated the power sources and everything like that. It wasn't like a shonen at all where like everyone had a power level and shit, but also like they had really good music to play throughout the entire time. It really got me into like, actually I think that got me into like Japanese music a lot, other than like
Mm.
Adult Swim anime fucking showing like Inuyasha end credits shit.
Man,
A
a really good one for like
side for you.
because Rurouni Kenshin was probably the first like, oh man, I'm interested in Japanese culture and like anime and all of that stuff. But Samurai Champloo is what took it to
Yeah.
another level.
You know who made Samurai Champloo?
I do not remember.
The same
My
guy
dad.
who made Cowboy Bebop.
Nope. I was wrong.
Well, if
were
your dad
wrong. I'm
made
sorry,
Cowboy
Corey.
Bebop,
I
then
thought it was my dad. Shout out to my dad.
But Samurai Champloo, do you know about Samurai
no.
Champloo, Ollie?
Explain like they're 5.
Samurai Champloo.
I know about it. just wanna
Is
say it.
where this lady Fu, I believe it is.
Fu.
Fu meets these two like mercenary assassin samurai, and she basically forces them to travel around with her to help her find her father. And they
The samurai that
really-
smells of sunflowers.
yeah, the samurai that smells of sunflowers, and that two samurai hate each other.
They're
One of
named
them is cool, calm, and collected, and I can't recall his
Jean.
name. Jean and
Mugen.
Mugen. Thank you, Tom. And
Coming in
Mugen is
clutch.
like the wild and crazy one. He's got like metal on the bottom of his shoes, and what are they called? Geta or something.
It's the wooden fucking flip flops.
The wooden flip flops
With the little
that have
blocks.
the raised blocks.
That
And he's
Kenshin
got
wears.
like metal on the bottom of them, so he like fights with them and stuff.
Mm.
And he's just like fucking crazy. And then Jean is very traditional,
Way
old
of the
school,
samurai.
way of the samurai.
Drinks tea.
Drinks
glasses,
tea.
Purple kimono.
Mm-hmm. I thought it was
Mugen-
blue.
Whatever.
He goes,
Mugen.
it's blue.
Mugen-
With leaves on it.
Mugen
Yes.
carries pretty much wannabe broadsword.
Yeah.
Oh.
But yeah,
mean
them
broadsword?
going on like,
Tom, who is my favorite,
With
you
the guard.
think?
Jin.
Yeah.
yeah, of course. But it's just like following their adventures of getting into bullshit and like having to find their way out because they're a haphazard crew and they're always looking for trouble and getting drunk and whatever. So it was just a great show and the music was amazing.
So Cowboy Bebop, we remember for its way to, mix in jazz.
Mm-hmm.
This really worked in a lot of rap and hip hop and
Mhm.
R&B.
It's
Yeah.
really cool.
Some of the action fighting sequences, like Mugen would actually do like a breakdance move, like a windmill, and then they would do a record skip, and so they would play the action
What?
back at the same time.
It was so cool.
Sounds cool.
It also made my favorite musical artist like become popular, which is Nujabes, and because
Oh.
he did the opening song as well as the ending song, and that really like it blew him the fuck up. He got a career because of it, and then his life was ended really shortly after that.
Oh,
So, but
Sad.
it's
about that part.
like I fucking like if it wasn't for that show, I would never have had like the songs I have right now.
Hmm.
And so,
Damn.
sorry, I just wanted to add on top of that because
No,
the
no,
music
no.
is real good.
Oh no, wrong character.
You like Mugen?
Mm-hmm.
What the fuck?
I know.
Cyborg 009.
Cyborg 009.
So that's like the old school look where like everyone had like big fluffy hair and shit. Where there was 9 cyborgs, each of them had superpowers. So one of them could like blow fire, one of them could fly. Cyborg 009, the main character, has super speed, and it's pretty much like the same, the classic story of like
wow.
cyborgs wanting to live amongst humans, and then everyone not finding them part of society. Yet the government always asks them to save society. And so it was really cool ideas.
It's like torn a little bit.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
really, really cool. Like that adult, like kind of complex that happened. Well, like the animation style though, it looks like Astro Boy. So it's
Oh,
really
interesting.
old school.
Okay.
So like it was really, really cool. And one of the characters fucking looks like Astro Boy too. So
Mm.
that I mean, Wolf's Rain.
Mm-mm.
Wolf's Rain.
I'm gonna be real. Adult Swim was one of their later kind of
It was
forays.
it was their last incarnation of a new block.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so I've seen one thing.
What is it?
On
Cowboy
adult-
Bebop
Oh no,
And-
two.
and Rick and Morty
Yay.
Rick and Morty.
And Family
no,
Guy.
Actually 3.
and Futurama.
But those are like,
I don't know, syndicated shows.
but we can count them.
Yeah, we can-
Oh,
Yeah.
we can count them.
Oh.
So like King of the Hill.
Well, if you count that.
Oh,
yeah.
Bob?
So
I'll tell you
Damn
what.
it, Bobby.
Adult Swim, I unfortunately, because I've heard a lot of
Great
really
things.
great things about what Adult Swim has done. I just have never.
You will.
My
Yeah.
favorite King of the Hill line is where they think Hank's gay, and they go, "Are you gay?" And he goes, "What? No, I sell propane." I don't know why that gets me every time.
But Wolf's Rain, and then I got one more, and then I'm done. Wolf's Rain is about if the world of man was created, like we evolved from apes and shit like that. But there was a sect of wolves, and that's where they evolved from.
And they reigned.
Well, it's the end of the world.
it
It's a
rained.
post-apocalyptic.
It rained wolves.
Yes.
And humankind is like on the brink of extinction, and then it's these humans that have like evolved from the wolves that now have to like find a way to like save the earth. But the cool thing is that they could revert back to their wolf forms.
Wait, I watched that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's
Fucking
a dope
dope.
show.
it's fucking dope. And you know what? They had a brown motherfucker in there, so someone I could actually cosplay as. Anyways,
That show
Also-
was fucking dope.
Full Metal Alchemist
Mhm.
Full Metal Alchemist.
was
This shit. Both of them.
yes,
Both of them. Not
all of the shit,
both of them.
all
of the shit,
of it.
like
Not
there's-
just some, all.
yeah,
In a world where the Industrial Revolution didn't happen, they created alchemy or alkahestry, where they can they can transmute elements into different elements using seals and signs like magic. I'm looking at Ollie. I'm trying to explain to him.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
So
you're like yeah.
And all I
whatever.
mean, all the descriptions sound like anything else that I've.
but would they
Been
be
described.
interesting to you?
I don't think it's been about whether
I don't think
he was
it's- yeah, it's
interested,
not
it was
about
just
that.
having
It's like-
access to it.
It sounds like you could. That sounds like a dime a dozen
Everything
kind of description.
that we've mentioned, he's been like, totally. I would
Yeah.
fucking
I
watch
feel
the
like
shit
it's
out
kind
of
of
that.
like
Well,
that's
Tom,
what's up.
Here's the thing.
Yes, Daddy. Yes, Papa.
I love
Fo?
every time that Ollie says, "Here's the thing."
Here's the thing with Tom. With
I've seen
Ollie.
Let
two
him say it.
animes.
Let him say it.
I've seen 2 animes that my best friend, shout out Dennis, were the ones to, was the person to show me those 2 animes. Why do you think I haven't watched any other anime?
Because you don't like your best friend.
Because you're not wearing hockey pants.
Because I'm not wearing hockey pants. Exactly. Exactly right.
Well,
I'm just not a big fan of anime.
Would you say you're not a big fan of me?
Ollie.
I could say the 2 reasons I don't like anime, and they'll make everybody in this room probably very upset.
Well,
Tell us right now.
Wow.
Tell us
Or
right
you can
now.
wait.
You have
Nope.
to tell us
I want to
I
know.
don't like
stories.
a show
oh shit.
where
Oh,
the
shit.
animation is a still frame and the camera's just panning up. Like the fact that it's not
Huh.
animating, I don't like that about anime.
Okay.
Interesting.
And then
The second.
well, there's 3. Facial blindness.
Oh yeah.
And then 3, I find most anime plots very heady and hard to, they're not approachable. It's hard to break into it.
Oh man, I have
We got it.
so many
We-
great
we-
things.
Which is
for
why
you.
Outlaw Star, I think, works really well. To like,
We
Bring
should
you
show
in.
him Gurren Lagann.
We'll show them shit. We'll show both
those
all
are
of
the
you
3
guys.
Those are
and
the 3, and I'll, at me, don't at me on Twitter, hashtag or at Future Pro.
Hashtag
He's
at
just yelling. Hey, at me, don't Twitter at hashtag subscribe.
But
Like,
those are-
comment, nerd on.
Those are the main reasons
Hey,
I
at
haven't
me,
watched.
but also don't at me.
DM.
Those are the reasons I haven't watched
Some-
like a ton of
slip
anime
and slide.
or any anime.
So they have to be. I mean, I'm of the same mind. So I mean, when Toonami was kind of the main source for us American kids for anime, correct?
Yeah.
Am I right?
This was a gateway
Yeah.
for a lot of people.
Uh-huh.
You
So, I
are
mean-
right. You were of the correct.
So
as
of
Tom
course
would say.
I grew up in the middle of nowhere, so I didn't have somebody to be like, okay, this is what you need to watch. So it's
Yeah.
like Dennis has given you 2 to like,
Well,
and those are the.
it's not even like go watch it. It's like we're watching this because you're at my house and we're watching this.
Mhm.
Like that's how I saw those shows.
We're gonna introduce you to some good anime.
I'm gonna give
And
you
then-
attention.
We're gonna do it.
And then Trigun was
Everyone
another one
looks
that he
really
wanted me to
different in
watch,
Kenshin.
but I think I saw like 1 episode of Trigun and didn't care,
Yeah.
and then like fell off of it and didn't really care to like. I don't know, like yeah. You guys are all staring at me with.
We
these,
can edit
like,
this
looks.
out.
Well, I don't want to look at you anymore. I don't want you to look at me, and I don't want to look at you for the rest
No,
of
you're
the night.
keeping this in. It's for the record. It's on record.
For the
Because we're
record.
gonna come back in a year.
Yeah,
and
we're
I
gonna come
will have
back, and
been-
then I want to just explain just one last one, and we can wrap this up. And this is the one that got me into anime. Was Inuyasha.
Yeah.
Inuyasha. Now, for you, Ollie, because I'm going to say it takes place in modern time, where a girl was going to school and then she fell down her family's well. Her family has a big ass house and they have a well. And in that well, they said there was a demon there. And when she fell in that well, it actually opened a portal to the feudal era of Japan, where demons and monsters rule. And then she meets a half demon, half human, Inuyasha, hit or struck to a fucking tree. He's been there for 50 years. And he says, we need to get this jewel. If we don't get the jewel, then someone else will get it and become a fucking evil ass motherfucker. It's called the Shikon jewel. And they don't explain all of this in the first episode, so don't worry, they ease you in. But this show got me to liking guys with fucking dog ears, long white ass hair, and giant fucking swords. And then those
Giant fucking swords. I hope
giant
you know
fucking
that he
swords.
means
All right.
that.
giant swords,
That fuck.
priestesses with bow and
I'm just gonna
arrows that kill every demon around.
You're not gonna sell me with descriptions.
I know. I'm just gonna say.
Because
Also, the
that sounded like
reason-
any other anime to me.
that I yelled that in the beginning is because all the time Kagome and Inuyasha yell each other's names.
Kagome!
Because they're trying to save each other and they love each other, but they won't get. They're just playing hard to get. But
All the
also,
time, forever.
Reminds me of Monty Python. I'm coming.
but also, fucking full-blooded demon brother,
Lancelot running
Sesshomaru.
continually.
Ooh,
at
Sesshomaru.
That is Silver Fox.
Woo!
I fucking loved him.
Ooh,
and
baby.
there's just a lot of good stuff in there.
So that's Cartoon Network. That's an hour and a half of
Yeah. Cartoon Network.
Cartoon Network
Of what we
stuff.
try to get to
So
Cartoon Network.
good.
There's a
There's
lot.
so much more.
much. If you have any questions for us about all of the shows, and if we just blazed by something and you were like, that one, and we didn't talk about it enough.
That's because there's 1,000 fucking
There's
shows.
1,000 shows. So,
So don't
leave
get
us
offended.
Leave us a
You-
comment.
If you look it up, it's pages and pages and pages
The-
of syndication,
Oh my
original
gosh, so
stuff,
much.
all the stuff that they've done. It's crazy.
If you like this, if you want to hear us talk about more episode or more things in depth, let us know, and maybe Ollie will revisit some of these fucking things.
Yeah, let me know what I should watch, and hopefully
At him.
streaming on Make it something that
Add him,
it's streaming.
hashtag DM him.
I have Netflix. I have Hulu. I think those are
You gotta get
That's it?
Verve.
places they. I'm trying to think of like where anime would be.
Verve.
I got some
Crunchyroll.
I got some
I
Blu-rays
don't
for
have
you.
Crunchyroll.
I got Blu-rays.
There we go. Now you're talking my language.
There it is.
Blu-rays.
As soon as I get
not
my notebook,
Blu-rays.
as soon as I get my notebook Blu-ray back, you can have it.
It's sitting on my.
Is it sitting underneath
He's had
Destiny
it for
Forsaken?
7
No,
months.
above.
Ali has Corey's copy of the Notebook, and I have Tom's copy of the Notebook.
Yep.
So Corey and I
We'll watch
can't
it
find
Tune
one
back in February to see if we watch them.
Maybe.
I think everyone here is complete.
I'm
Yeah.
complete.
I think Josh completed in his pants a long time
I'm
ago.
ready to keep talking about this for the rest of my life. But
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
We'll
not.
get there. We'll get there.
I'm hungry.
Hi, Hunger.
I'm Caitlin.
Yeah.
But if you like what you hear, where can they look at more stuff at us?
They can check us out over at nerdon.tv. It has all of the information there, all the links, all the articles. Like I said, everything's there.
Everything you need to know.
It's all in one place and easy to remember, nerdon.tv. But thank you so much for listening. We really can't tell you enough how much we appreciate.
Because we'll die if we do.
Yeah,
We're a little loopy tonight,
little loopy.
but we love you.
We
So much. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us and using your ears to listen to our words.
Yeah,
we
your
really
ear holes.
appreciate it.
listening to our mouth holes. On that note, as always,
Nerd
on!
Ending broadcast.